Chapter 4079. Long Chen doesn't know that he has been targeted by a terrible opponent, and he is driving people aimlessly. Through the battle with the 9 elders, people's confidence increased, and they were qualified to walk everywhere only when they could fight with the heavenly god in nirvana. In addition, they are escorted by Huaishu, a supermaster. Even in Ninefold, where Tianzuan is rampant, they are not flustered. Long Chen secretly congratulates himself, thanks to Huaishu, otherwise they will be extremely difficult in every step of nirvana. Through this battle, Guoran and Xia Chen are busy reconstructing the array rune of the battle armor. Guoran's battle armor needs to be further improved, or sooner or later, they will be supported by the strength of the dragon blood soldiers. And Long Chen is also a little anxious. He wants to improve his accomplishments quickly. When his accomplishments are improved, his strength will be improved quickly again. But the dragon strongman never let him move. As for when he could move, he didn't say, so he waited patiently. When he was bored, he practiced the dragon god's body refining technique and continued to refine the body. Long Chen and others came to an ancient city of human race, which is the biggest city. Long Chen and others met after 3 days walking. Here, Long Chen finally found Huayun business. After showing the identity plate, Long Chen and others immediately received a warm reception. As Long Chen expected, in Ninefold, those in power of all major forces are basically at the level of heaven. If it's a local leader, even if it's a 3-flower local leader, it can't hold the field. The person in charge of Huayun Commercial Bank is also a heaven leader. It's just that this man, who is white and fat, looks like a rich man. He is modest and polite. He speaks very politely, which makes people very comfortable. Dragon Dust came here is to find a safe foothold. At the same time, Dragon Dust began to inquire about everything about nirvana. Huayun business said to Long Chen that it was really useless. It gave all the information about Ninefold to Long Chen. When Long Chen read the information about Ninefold, he could not help but take a breath of cold air. The distribution of Ninefold's power was more complicated than Long Chen imagined. Here, the human race lives in a corner. In this nirvana, it can only be regarded as struggling to survive. In Ninefold, there are many archaic heritages. Some races even have chaotic blood. Originally, demons and beasts are one family in Xian, but here, demons and beasts are separated. They are not harmonious with each other, and even often have wars. Nirvana is too huge and contains numerous star domains, some of which have weak walls and connect with alien channels. Some astral regions are ruled by the underworld, some astral regions are controlled by ghosts, and the demons even set up their own world in nirvana. Moreover, there are many branches of the demons, and there are also barriers between them. The Blood Clan, the Shadow Clan, the Night Clan, and so on have their own chassis. In a word, the chaos of nirvana is unimaginable. It is not only the human race that is not united, but also the other races. Moreover, the relationship between the major ethnic groups is too complicated to imagine. Some ethnic groups are harmonious on the surface and stab in the back. Some races have been fighting for countless years, but they suddenly become one and work together against other races. Long Chen had a little look at the history of the development of these races, and suddenly his head was as big as a fight. The relationship between them was too complicated. But after a careful analysis, Long Chen found that the contradictions are all about resources. If there are common interests, they will unite. If there are no interests, they will turn their faces and refuse to recognize others. Because there are too many materials, Long Chen can't read them all. In addition, these materials are all modern and can't be traced back to a long history, and they are not of great significance. After a rough understanding of the situation of various ethnic groups, Long Chen began to study the wild forbidden area of nirvana. This research made Long Chen's heart beat. There are many forbidden areas in the whole nirvana. There are dozens of them that are not controlled by anyone. These forbidden areas have amazing origins. Many of them are buried in the ancient times. There are many entrances. You can go in and out at will, and there is no restriction on cultivation. Therefore, it attracts countless adventurers. But most of the adventurers never come back after entering, but some lucky ones come back with enviable treasures. There are the great ancient skills, the immortal elixir, the magic weapon, and the animal eggs. These unguarded forbidden areas are too dangerous, so no force is willing to guard them. Although the treasures are amazing, the harvest is not proportional to the cost. Those forbidden areas that are guarded and occupied for themselves are relatively safe. However, to occupy such a treasure land, one must have absolute strength and always maintain the peak state. Once a certain force declines, they often do not need others to attack them, and they will take the initiative to withdraw from the guard, so as not to lead to death. Moreover, the major forces in Ninefold are updating and iterating very quickly. A force can rise like a comet, or it may disappear overnight. A force that has been passed on for hundreds of thousands of years, or even millions of years, may be precarious. Sometimes, these forces occupy precious land, which is also chicken ribs. It's a pity to abandon it if you don't have meat to eat. Because there are many treasures, but you can see them, but you can't eat them. If you forcibly seize them, you will only pay endless casualties. In history, I don't know how many forces, because of their greedy efforts and rash progress, led to too many deaths and injuries, and were finally taken advantage of by the enemy. They not only lost their precious land, but also their lives. These precious lands are a double-edged sword. If they are well developed, they are good things. If they are not well developed, they will bring disaster. Some sects choose a group of people to enter the treasure land every year, but there is a limit. They always plan for the worst every time. Even if all these people die in it, it will not affect the overall strength of the sect. And some sects will openly employ people who are not afraid of death to enter their own treasure land. If you come out alive and bring out the treasure, you can share it with them. However, many external employees bring out the real treasure and basically disappear. In a word, these forces also take great pains to protect the land. It's like a cat guarding a big fish. It wants to eat, but it doesn't have such good teeth and doesn't know how to eat. What worries them even more is that on the one hand, they should be on guard against being envious of their power. On the other hand, they are worried that others have already eaten fat to devour them. In a word, Nirvana is a ferocious world, and also a world of anxiety. Every living creature has a huge sense of oppression, as if death will come at any time. Good guy, with so many treasures, I'm afraid that Emon Yen has already started to take action. Seeing this, a face of cheap smile suddenly appeared in Longchen's mind. www.novelhold.com, the fastest update of the web novel. Chapter 4080. There are thousands of people living in Nirvana, and there are channels between Nirvana and other worlds. Different from other worlds, some places here can lead directly to the underworld, the demon world, the undead world, and so on. According to historical records, Ninefold experienced a chaotic war. The war spread to all the heavens at that time, and the world barrier was broken down. Up to now, it has not healed. Therefore, Ninefold also has many channels to the world. It's said that it can lead directly to the underworld. Longchen suddenly thinks of Linjiwayan and Minkanjiu. At the same time, he also thinks of Wutian, which is full of mountains and rivers. He didn't spend a long time with Wu Tian, but Longchen could feel Wu Tian's brotherhood to him. The fate of the two men is extremely similar, and their personalities are also very different. They feel that it's too late to meet each other. However, Wu Tian's situation is not much better than Longchen's, and his enemies are more and stronger than Longchen's. If you have a chance, you must go to the underworld. Longchen took a deep breath. The world is too big with his current strength. It seems so weak and small. However, coming to Nirvana also gives him infinite motivation. Nirvana connects all the world, that is to say, people will come one after another. Longchen has a preliminary understanding of the situation of the major circles, and then focuses on the Terran. When he sees the situation of the Terran, Longchen can't help but take a breath of cold air. He was shocked to find that the Terran forces in more than half of Nirvana were subordinate forces of Brahma. You know, this is Nirvana. The forces that can stand here are unimaginable. What ability does Defantion have to make half of the human race loyal to him, which is beyond Longchen's expectation? The great Brahma has not appeared for countless years, and the name of Brahma is also the name of Brahma countless years ago. Now, no one knows what realm he has reached. Is he immortal? Otherwise, how can we make so many forces yield? Although Longchen thought that Defantion was extremely terrible, otherwise he would not be so convinced by Imputa's resourcefulness. If Brahma ascends to immortality, it will be too terrible. You know, he is a divine practitioner. Almost all divine practitioners are invincible at the same level. If Brahma is a strong immortal, he must be the strongest one among the strong immortal. Damn, this bastard is so strong? Longchen couldn't help but feel angry. He thought that the gap between him and Brahma was getting closer and closer, but with the contact, Brahma just showed the tip of the iceberg. The more he dug, the more people felt the horror of Brahma. It seems that it's not the time to confront him head-on. You have to be careful. There is no force to challenge him. It would be foolish to do so. Longchen also found that there are many powerful people in the human race. There are some clans and forces with mysterious origins. Even in Ninefold, where there are many ethnic groups, they are extremely afraid of them. Among these forces, there are 4 Taigu sects: Qin, Qi, calligraphy and painting. They are almost independent of the world, but they are so famous that they dare not challenge even foreign people. To Longchen's surprise, there is a Dionysus palace in Ninefold, but Longchen doesn't know why Xiaoguhong didn't mention it to him. The Dionysus palace in Nirvana is a declining palace. It is said that it became a ruin in the Taigu War. There are still some terrible laws in this ruins. Even the strong can't get in. Even if they just get close to it, they will feel dizzy, as if they are drunk. Some people even get drunk and die outside the ruins. So that place is called Dionysus Palace, and some people call it Dionysus Ruins. It is said that there is a statue of Dionysus in it, and I don't know whether it is true or not. Many people have asked the Dionysus Palace in Xianshan for confirmation, but the Dionysus Palace has not given any reply. Since the Dionysus Palace is here, why not repair the ruins of Dionysus is very puzzling. In addition to the Taigu 4 sects, there are also some ancient heritages. However, some heritages are very low-key and hardly communicate with the outside world. People only know their names, but they don't know their real strength. Of course, no one dares to test them, because those who tested them are dead. In addition to the Taigu 4 sects and those mysterious forces, the most striking ones are the 8 immortal aristocratic families, which are known as Dragon, Leaf, Ginger, Zhao, Ji, Wang, Wei and Qin. Different from other ethnic groups, the 8 aristocratic families are relatively high-profile, have a very wide range of activities, and have certain contacts with various ethnic groups, which makes them very active. The 8 aristocratic families are superior in strength and talented in large numbers. They sometimes get along well with the foreign people and sometimes they get along badly with them. Because of their strong strength, even the foreign people are not willing to provoke them. It can be said that the 8 aristocratic families are the representatives of the strong people of the human race. They intimidate the alien race. If there is a dispute between the human race and the alien race, it is often the 8 aristocratic families who come forward to mediate. Generally, the alien race will also give some face to the 8 aristocratic families. The 8 aristocratic families gradually became the representatives of the human race, but this representative was only recognized by some forces. Some mysterious Taigu heritage turn a blind eye to it, and Taigu 4 are not interested in this kind of fame and wealth, and will not participate in it. In a pair of people do not offend me, I do not offend the attitude of coldly watching. No wonder the Yi family is so arrogant. They already regard themselves as the overlord of the human race. As long as they are the human race, they can't go against their will. Longchen suddenly realized. The most active members of the clan are the 8 aristocratic families. They are almost in charge of the movement of the whole clan. Those who can compete with them do not care about them at all, so they develop their arrogant and domineering character. I don't know if they are related to each other. If they're all in one group, there's a bit of trouble. Longchen can't help but frown. According to the introduction of the data, the 8 aristocratic families are very afraid of the great Brahmas inheriting power, and each other's well water does not violate the river water. Even if these forces cause any trouble, as long as they use their relations and money, the 8 aristocratic families will help them deal with it. The great Brahma is a mortal enemy, and the Yi family is also a mortal enemy. In this way, it is very harmful to Longchen. Boss, the president asked to see you. When Longchen frowns and ponders, Guoran comes. Please hurry up, Longchen is in a hurry. This is someone else's territory. Longchen can't be rude, so he gets up to greet him. Mr. Longchen, I just received a message today. You may be interested in it. The president said with a smile and handed a gold invitation to Longchen. Shengwang meeting. When Longchen saw the 4 big words on the invitation, he was stunned. www.novelhold.com, the fastest update of the web novel. Chapter 4081. This is one of the biggest gatherings of Nianxian. All the powerful fairies in 9 days and 10 places will participate in this meeting to compete for the crown of the Holy King. Will grow up humane. Will the strong of 9 days and 10 places come to participate? Guoran is both surprised and happy. He and Longchen want to go together. In this way, can the Dragon Blood Army be reorganized directly? Slip of the tongue, it's the top fairy king in 9 days and 10 places. They all come to attend. I'm afraid ordinary talents have to watch the fun. The president said with a smile. Can you tell me more about this holy assembly? Dragon Dust suddenly came to interest. It turns out that this Holy King's Assembly has a very long name, which is called the Holy King's Assembly of Niang. Moreover, the opening time of each king's assembly is different, not decided by who, but waiting for the king's kingdom to open automatically. The so-called Holy Kingdom is located in the middle of Nirvana. It is a wild land and no one cares about it. However, every few 100,000 years or millions of years, the Holy Kingdom opens and the Holy King Challenge Arena comes. It is said that the Xingwang Arena was created by the ancestors of all ethnic groups in the Chaos Era. It was created by the joint efforts of all ethnic groups. In the world of heaven, any race can participate as long as they arrive at the fairyland, whether in the early days of the fairyland or in the great fullness of the fairyland. It is said that in the Chaos Era, there was a relatively peaceful period. There was a big reason which was related to the challenge arena of the Holy King. It is said that the Holy Emperor of the Spirit Clan proposed to build the Holy King Arena. He took the lead in drawing up an agreement and rules. In the era of chaos, the King's Challenge Arena is opened every 100 years, and the champion in the King's Challenge Arena will be crowned with the King's Crown. The so-called crown of the Holy King is that the Holy King's Challenge Arena gathers 9 weather events to bless individuals. To be crowned with the crown of the Holy King and enter into immortality is a sure thing. With the blessing of the Holy King, there will be no bottleneck. Even if he only eats and sleeps every day without practice, the way of heaven will integrate his strength and perception bit by bit into his body, and the crown of the Holy King will not disappear until he is promoted to immortality. Ilgo, really? Longchen was startled. The crown of the Holy King was cheating. Of course, it's true, but the times have changed. It took hundreds of thousands of years, even millions of years, for the King's Challenge Arena to appear once every 100 years. Because after the crown is gathered, it will be enough for the king to appear. In the age of chaos, it only took 100 years, but now, the spirit of chaos is thin, everything has changed. It's 8 million years since the last time the Challenge Arena was opened. In the past 8 million years, there has never been a strong immortal in Nirvana. We can see how difficult it is to advance immortality without the crown of the Holy King. The president could not help sighing. For 8 million years, no one has been able to advance to immortality, which is really too difficult. No wonder he says that when the Holy King's assembly opens, the top talents of 9 days and 10 places will come. Advanced immortality, that is to really stand on the top of the fairyland. Even if you meet the great Brahma, you also have the power to fight. The heart of Longchen is suddenly hot. Not only the champion will win the crown of the Holy King, but also the top 10,000 will get the blessing of Qi Yun. The top 1,000 will get the Qi of Chaos to baptize the body and soul. The top 100 will get all kinds of magic weapons, battle armor, elixir, martial arts, combat skills, and other treasures at random. Even if you break into the top 10,000 and gain chi luck, you can also gain more recognition of the way of heaven. For the way of heaven, it is to be a sun. It's enviable to add chi to one's body, not to mention the baptism of chaotic chi. You know, it took more than 8 million years for the Saint King Arena to collect prizes. That's absolutely extraordinary. Therefore, as long as the news is received, the arrogance of the major forces will be crazy. Some of the arrogance that has been sealed for countless years will be awakened. At that time, the real arrogance will be rampant in the Holy King's assembly. In that case, Mengqi, Chuyao, Weiner, Xian, Xiaoyu, Jiqiu and Shaoqian can all meet. Long Chen's heart is surging. He is worried about how to find everyone. Now, the opportunity has come. Long Chen believes that we will meet soon. Not only they, but also those dragon blood soldiers who can't get in touch with each other must know that Long Chen will attend such a meeting and will try his best to come here. Now the King's Challenge Arena is being opened. It is estimated that it will be completed in another half a year. Mr. Long Chen, you need to be prepared in advance. If you need any help from Huayan business, please don't hesitate to ask. We'll grow up humane. I really need your help, Mr. President. I have something to sell in my hand, and I also want to exchange some materials I want. Next to Guoran, he finally found an opportunity to speak directly. It turns out that last time in 30,000 worlds, he and Xiaochen won countless treasures, but most of them didn't use them. Later, they were too busy and didn't have a chance to sell them. Now that he has finally found the opportunity, Guoran will not let it go. On the spot, he will take out all kinds of strange things he can't use, such as magic weapons, battle armor, and all kinds of strange things he has got in 30,000 worlds, and prepare to dispose of them all. It takes too much space to put them in his hands. Most of the treasures Guoran brought out were made in that strange cemetery. Many of the magic soldiers have decayed and some runes have failed, but they have great research value. It's not worth money to put it in Guoran's hands, because they have already rubbing the runes. However, it can be sold at a very high price if it is packaged in Huayan's hands and sold to people in need. The most important thing is that Huayun has so many channels that it can always find the right buyers. Guoran's treasures, even the well-informed president, are moved by them. The president quickly invited an appraiser to calculate the value. Like Long Chen, Guoran did not look at how they calculated the value at all. He directly made a list for the president. Let him directly help to purchase. If the value of the treasure he takes out is not equal to these materials, let him directly ask Long Chen for money. Long Chen rolled a white eye, feeling to now, Long Chen still has to support him, no way, who let him be the boss. Long Chen also took the opportunity to shake out all the chaotic things in his chaotic space, and gave all the useless things to those appraisers. Long Chen said that if it's valuable, sell it. If it's not valuable, help throw it away. Anyway, Long Chen can absolutely trust them. At this time, suddenly an old man from Huayun business came in. His face was a little dignified. Why? The president was stunned and asked. The old man said, I'm afraid the people from Longting business are here for Mr. Longchen. www.novelhold.com, the fastest update of the web novel. Chapter 4082 Longting Company? Longchen along the unexpectedly door? Is this a VIP? There is a great festival between Longchen and Longting business. The people of Longting business have killed the Bai brothers and sisters. The hatred of Longchen can never be put down. Bai brothers and sisters are so kind-hearted and simple people. They persecute them all the way, and finally use the despicable scam to kill them, so that Longchen has no chance to help them. In Longchen's heart, he has made a plan to fight with Longting business to the end, but because of all kinds of trivia, Longchen has no time to find Longting business. Now it's a good thing that they've come. It's obvious that those who come are not good. According to the speed of communication between Xianshan and Niangshan, they should have just received the news that Longchen has robbed Longting business continuously. Whether it's Huayun business or Longting business, they can't communicate with Xianshan directly. Otherwise, the news of Kainkunding would have been transmitted to Niangshan for a long time. If other days want to get to Niangshan, they must cross the Tianhe River from Xianshan. The Tianhe River between Xianshan and Niangshan cannot be crossed through the transmission array. Even Lingshao Academy, as the cornerstone of the academy, can cross the Tianhe River between Minghaoyan and Xianshan, but it can't directly cross the Nirvana. Therefore, the news of Xianshan can reach Niangshan as soon as half a year. In other words, the news of Longting business has been happening for half a year. However, just yesterday, great changes have taken place in Nirvana. It is said that the appearance of the King's Challenge Arena will change the Tianhe River, and the Devil's Eye may be closed due to the influence of unknown forces. In this way, you can cross the Tianhe River directly instead of taking a specific route. At the same time, the powerful can also take the opportunity to cross the Tianhe River without being killed by the terrible creatures in the Tianhe River. It seems that with the appearance of the King's Challenge Arena, the order of heaven and earth has become peaceful, and all the major forces dare not use the sword. The original King's meeting was a grand meeting of all ethnic groups. During the meeting, all ethnic groups were not allowed to attack each other. After all, they had to abide by the promise of their ancestors. In addition, if anyone dares to invade and massacre other races on a large scale at this time, the legend will be captured by the way of heaven and bring down bad luck. There are a lot of rumors. As to whether they are true or false, there is no way to verify them. However, one thing is true, that is, during the Holy King's Assembly, all the major ethnic groups in 9 days and 10 places will not make big moves. If they are not provoked, they will not easily launch large-scale wars. And the Xinguang Arena just appeared yesterday, so Longshan can be sure that the news of the First World War of Zhuge Empire has not been spread, and Longting business just came to find the arena. Tell them to wait. They'll be right there. It seems that I have been used to this kind of thing for a long time. The president said faintly. They'll go with you. I want to see what Longting business is. Longshan rode. When Longchen said this, the president hesitated for a moment and finally nodded, agreed that Longchen would meet the people of Longting business with him. It's not convenient for Guoran and others to participate in this kind of thing. After all, it's not war. Huayan business only talks about business. Longchen can accompany the president alone. Mr. President, we Huayan Commercial Bank operate in good faith, and the old and the young are not deceived. Why can't we do business in Niangshan but Longting Commercial Bank? Out of the residents and the president side by side, Longchen can't help asking. In the message of Huayan Commercial Bank to Longchen, it also introduces the current situation of Huayan Commercial Bank in Niangshan. Huayan Commercial Bank accounts for about 30% of Niangshan, while Longting Commercial Bank has reached an amazing 60%, which is twice the scale of Huayan Commercial Bank. The remaining 10% are miscellaneous businesses, which can't be compared with Huayan and Longting. It's just that this proportion makes Longchen feel a little incomprehensible. Longshan thinks that the way of operation and the quality of the merchants of Huayan business are the highest. The guys of Longting business are just like the bandits. There is no comparison between the two. 2 words means. The president said with a smile. Oh, what do you say? Longchen asked. The president said with a smile. Before I joined Huayan business, I was once an outlaw, wandering between justice and evil. Later, the god of wealth favored me and let me enter Huayan business. There was a sentence in the Book of Wealth that deeply touched my heart and changed my destiny. Everyone is a businessman who gains profit in exchange. Everything in his hand is a commodity. As long as the profit is rich enough, he will sell it without bottom line. Including their youth, life and soul and even faith in the conflict of interests, lost themselves, lost the direction, and ultimately, for the sake of interests, unscrupulous. Businessmen are the most terrible, because in their eyes, everything will be marked with a price tag. As long as the other side offers enough, he will sell. These things even include family affection, friendship, love, truth and faith. If a group of businessmen without faith take control of the world will not be far from collapse. The words of my predecessors, like the evening drum and the morning bell, strike the soul directly and make people think deeply. Longchen moved. What he said is very good. To put it bluntly, business ethics is also human nature, and business nature is also human nature. Both of them are in common. This is the divine precept of the God of wealth. It's not something that I, a stupid old man, can say. When I joined Huayun Business, the senior assessor asked me, "In your mind, what can't be sold?" The president said with a smile. "What's your reply?" Longchen also says with a smile. "My answer is, wife and children." The president laughed. Longchen also laughed and then asked, "And then? And then there's no then? Is that okay?" Dragon Dust Surprise Tunnel. Yes, it passed. Longchen nodded and said, "I see. In fact, this question is about where the bottom line is in your heart." Sir, you are so smart. I was confused for a long time before I realized the key. The president praised. Longchen said, "I see. Huayun Business has its own bottom line. Some things can be operated, and some things cannot be operated, such as justice and conscience." The president laughs. He neither admits nor denies it. It seems that different people have different opinions on this question. There is no real answer and it is inconvenient to answer. Longchen can't help feeling that Huayun Business is really full of talents. From top to bottom, everyone is admired. This alone makes countless inheritors out of reach. The most important thing is that from their eyes, Longchen can see selfless and fearless. Everyone lives so full and satisfied, which makes Longchen admire and admire. "Longchen, you are so brave." Longchen talks and laughs with the president. Unconsciously, he has entered a hall. As soon as he comes in, he hears a sharp drink. www.novelhold.com, the fastest update of the web novel. Chapter 4083. When Longchen came to the hall, there were already more than a dozen strong men in flying dragon robes waiting. When Longchen came in, the first old man raised his eyebrows and cheered fiercely. It was a strong man in heaven. In the past, Longchen might have been more careful, but now he doesn't have so much awe for the strong man in heaven. On the one hand, it is because Kunpeng's wings have been completely refined, and even those who are strong in heaven can't match his speed. On the other hand, the dragon blood soldiers have enough power to fight against Tianzuan. Now, even if they really face Tianzin strong, they also have the power of World War I. The most important thing is that along the way, Longchen saw too many powerful people, so it was no surprise. More than a dozen people came to Longting Business. Only one of them was the most powerful in heaven, and the rest were the most powerful in earth. Although they were not too old, they were in their prime, and they were much better than ordinary people. However, no matter how strong the earth is, it will not enter the eyes of Longchen at this time, and will not pose any threat to him. Seeing the Tianzuan elder of Longting Business, Longchen said, "Can you change the way of opening? Don't always praise me, okay? I know I'm brave, but am a little embarrassed that you always praise me like this when you meet." "Boy is rude," a strong man angrily said, and his hand had already grasped the handle of the knife. Longchen's face sank. "Your behavior is very dangerous. I know you are bluffing me, but it will irritate me. Huayun Business is a place for business, not for fighting. I don't want to kill people here." The strong man in the earth is an idiot. He holds the handle of the knife and tries to lock the dragon dust with the air machine to make a fool of him. However, his strength is far weaker than that of Longchen. He can't lock Longchen at all. In Longchen's opinion, it's like a rat in front of a giant dragon. Longchen has an impulse to slap him to death. At this distance, if Longchen wants to kill him, even the Tianzuan strongman of Longting Business can't save him. It's just that Longchen always respects Huayun Business and doesn't want to kill people on their territory. In fact, Longchen can slap him in the face to teach him a lesson, but for a long time, under the impact of Dragon God's body refining technique, his power can't be controlled at a micro level for fear that he will be killed accidentally. It means that he is more powerful than the dragon dust. Angry, the disdain on Longchen's face didn't seem to put him in the eye at all. The condescending feeling of looking down brought him great shame. The appearance of Longchen surprised all the people in Longting Business. According to the information they received, although Longchen could defeat the ordinary god, his strength should be under the earth. But when the dragon dust comes, the earth can't lock the dragon dust, even the heaven can't see through the soul of the dragon dust. Is the message wrong? This is the first thought in the hearts of the strong of Longting business. What they don't know is that the strength of Longchen at that time was really inferior to that of Dizuan. After Longchen entered the Zhuge Empire, after trial and practicing the dragon god's body refining technique, he was almost reborn. Although his realm didn't change, his strength was not comparable at that time. If you have something to say, if there is any misunderstanding, it will be okay. In business, it's not in line with the way of making money to pay attention to harmony and make money at this time, the president said with a smile. In the hall, there are only 3 strong members of Huayan business, and the number of them is much less than that of Longting business. Moreover, in terms of momentum, Longting business is domineering and has the posture of making a fuss over the guests, with murderous look on their faces, which is very frightening. I came here today to ask you Huayan business firm to give me an explanation. This dragon dust robbed dozens of business firms in a row on a hot purple day. The plot was abominable. Now he has just arrived in Niangshan, and he has come to join Huayan Commercial Bank. I think you are in collusion. Longchen is responsible for robbery, and Huayan Commercial Bank is responsible for selling stolen goods. The old man of Longting business yelled angrily. The president was so doubted and just about to speak, Longchen said to him in advance, "What you said is meaningless. Everyone is in the same company. Why kill each other? Who's with you?" The old man of Longting business said angrily. "Why not go together? You are the dark pit, I am the open robber. In essence, we are all the same. You treat people as animals, rob them of all their treasures, and sacrifice their lives. You not only want to rob, but also kill people. But I just want to make money, but I don't want to kill. In this respect, I'm much better than you?" Longchen looks aggrieved. While talking, Longchen is also observing the expression of these people. Longchen sees that those who are strong in the earth are all angry. Only the Tianzuan old man's eyes flash a touch of panic. Obviously, the sacrifice is an important secret for Longting business. Among these people, only the old man knows. What are you talking about? Although he seems calm on the surface, he seems to be wronged, but deep in his eyes, he has a cold intention to kill. Want to kill? Who is Longchen? One can see the old man's intention at a glance. We all know if I have any nonsense. Do you have to let me speak more clearly? If you know the truth, get out of here. Don't pour dirty water on Huayan business. Otherwise, you will understand. Longchen looks at the Tianzuan old man of Longting business firm and says with a smile. The old man immediately understood that Longchen meant that the grudge between them should not be involved in Huayan Commercial Bank, otherwise he would announce it. Longchen let them roll, the old man's eyes, but with a touch of joy, which means that Longchen will not disclose this matter for the time being. I'm not willing to give up this matter. You must give me a satisfactory explanation. The old man of Longting business hums coldly. Longchen mouth with a smile. The old man is not an idiot, heard the meaning of Longchen. As long as you don't involve Huayan business, I will accompany you to the end. Do you think I'll be finished robbing you business? Can the revenge of Bei's brothers and sisters be settled like this? You are so naive. Farewell. Tianzuan old man of Longting Commercial Bank gave the president a fist, swung his sleeve and left with him. Out of Huayan business, one of the most powerful people rushed up and said, "My lord, just let him go?" Let him go? Is it possible? Tell the Shadow Clan that we want the head on the dragon dust's neck. They can open it as much as they want. In the eyes of Tianzuan old man of Longting business, a cold color flashed, and a cold smile hung on the corner of his mouth. www.novelhold.com, the fastest update of the web novel. Chapter 4084, Mr. Longchen, you will only attract endless pursuit from Longting business. They are afraid that you will make the secret public and will kill you as soon as possible. After the people of Longting business left, the president said with a worried face. The president knows about the sacrifice. At the beginning, Longchen told Huayan business the secret in the purple sun. However, Longchen didn't make it public directly. Longchen kept this secret and was ready to wait for a suitable opportunity to expose Longting business. Huayun Commercial Bank knows the secret, but it has not made it public. They are businessmen and focus on business. They will not put too much energy on such things. Moreover, the secret was discovered by Longchen. Longchen didn't announce it. They won't announce it without his consent. The feud between me and them has been endless for a long time. There are too many people in the world who want me to die. It's not bad for Longting. If I don't toss them to death, how can I stand up to the Bai brothers and sisters? As long as the dispute between us do not involve Huayun business, Longchen said with a smile. As a matter of fact, if Longchen announced this matter earlier, Longting business firm would surely break its grip and put all the responsibility on its hands. It would pull out some ghosts to replace the dead, put it in the right place and cover up the matter. Longchen has seen through all this for a long time, so he doesn't disclose the secret. In other words, it's not the time to disclose it. As for the pursuit of Longting business, Longchen doesn't care. Even if it's heaven strong, can't it fight or run? As long as you dare to do it, I dare to continue to rob your business. I'm worried that I have no chance to get something good. By the way, Mr. President, you mentioned before that the reason why Huayun business is not as big as Longting business is, on the one hand, because they do business by no means. On the other hand, what is it? Longchen suddenly asked. On the way here, Longchen talked about it with the president. He said it mainly came from two aspects. One is a lot of sectarian forces because they are followers of the great Brahma, so they will cooperate with Longting business. It is said that Longting business has a very close relationship with the great Brahma. However, some forces who are not followers of the great Brahma had to cooperate with them because of the obscene power of Longting Commercial Bank. Therefore, the president said that Longting Commercial Bank does business by no means. In fact, it's not business. To put it bluntly, it's bandits. You have to sell them or not. If you don't cooperate with me, you want to do all kinds of bad tricks to punish you. This kind of eating looks very ugly, but in fact, the major forces of the whole nirvana are almost the same. Take the Yi family that Longchen met as an example. Many forces were oppressed by the Yi family. They dare to be angry. However, they can't help it. Even if they are not oppressed by the Yi family, they will also be oppressed by other forces. Yi family and Longting business are typical representatives of the nirvana. Huayun Commercial Bank concentrates on business, does not participate in all kinds of disputes, and will not buy or sell for business. Although it has a good reputation, countless people want to do business with them, but they have no courage. Only some relatively strong power, not oppressed by others, will cooperate with Huayun Commercial Bank. Some small power can only cooperate with Huayun Commercial Bank secretly. When cooperating, they are afraid of being found. Therefore, if Huayun business can't do Longting business, it's inevitable that a gentleman and a hooligan will suffer some losses after all. The second reason is that there are too few pills we can provide. Elixir is the lifeblood of the sect, and the most important alchemy in Xianshan is Shengdan Hall. In addition to selling the elixir itself, only Longting Company is allowed to sell it. Therefore, in order to buy the pills from the temple, some clan forces have to cooperate with Longting business. The president is a bit helpless. Longchen suddenly realized that the temple of love is both soft and hard. If you want to buy my pills, you must cooperate with me, or you won't sell your pills. No, we have a good supply of elixirs on the hot and dark days. How come there is no elixir to sell in Niangshan? Longchen asked. That's because the law of nirvana is different. Alchemy here is more difficult than other places. And the local strong, take the pills refined in other places, the effect will be reduced by more than half, and even there will be rejection. Even if we come to nirvana, we have many difficulties in alchemy. The high failure rate does not mean that the quality of pills cannot be improved. We have been studying this problem for countless years, but we have never been able to solve it. We'll grow up humane. And this? No, Qing Xian was still refining pills yesterday. There is no such problem. Longchen rode. This no way this time, it's the president's turn to be shocked. It's true. Yesterday, Yu Qingxian was still making pills, but for fear of causing a sensation she made all the pills. In fact, she is observing the influence of the changes in the way of heaven on the way of Dan, and whether she has made great progress in the way of Dan. Yu Qingxian is very persistent in alchemy. Soon, the president gathered dozens of elixirs and came to the special alchemy site of Huayun Company. Yu Qingxian made a batch of elixirs for them on the spot. This time, Yu Qingxian did not reserve anything and made them with all her strength. When there was a cloud in the sky, the president and other elixirs were shocked. You know, they have been refining Dan here for countless years, and it's the first time that they see Dan Jia. When the lid of the stove was lifted and the two elixirs appeared, they were completely shocked, and their faces were full of incredible looks. How is that possible? Are you from the temple of Saint Dan? There is an old man in Danxiu who looks shocked. At first, Long Chen and Yu Qingxian were stunned, and then a sudden look appeared on their faces. They said in one voice, "Is it?" Although they didn't say it, they both knew that what they wanted to say was the same name, Dongfang Zichu. The Temple of Saint Dan is one of the 4 main halls under Defantian. Dongfang Zichu is a master of alchemy. Dongfang Zichu has a great relationship with the Temple of Saint Dan. He may even come from the Temple of Saint Dan. In order to make Yu Shaoyun feel at ease, Dongfang Zichu also has amazing talent in Dandao, so it can be said that he would give him everything in Dandao. Otherwise, Yu Shaoyun would not trust him so much. In Dongfang Zica's opinion, sooner or later, Yu Qingxian is going to sacrifice. If you pass it on to someone who is going to die, you don't need to worry about it at all. Instead, you can make Yu Qingxian and Yu Shaoyun trust him completely. On the one hand, Yu Xian is not interested in passing on the secret to Dongfang Qingzi. On the other hand, Yu Xian is not so good at controlling Dongfang Qingzi. Now, Yu Qingxian is not affected by the laws of heaven here. He can refine pills, which is just a gift from Dongfang Zichu. I don't know. The old man was excited. Mr. Zisong, please respect yourself. The old man said he wanted to know what he was in a hurry. Yu Qingxian took a look at Long Chen and saw that Long Chen nodded. She said with a smile, "It doesn't matter. I can teach you my alchemy." At that moment, even the president's face was filled with ecstasy, and some of them could not believe their ears. www.novelhold.com, the fastest update of the web novel. Chapter 4085. That's not good. All of a sudden, the president stuttered. You should know that there is a unique secret method in the Temple of Saint Dan, which is used to refine pills in nirvana without being influenced by the way of heaven. This unique secret method is only passed on to the most devout believers in the Temple of Saint Dan. Therefore, for countless years, not only Huayun business, but also countless other forces want to get this secret, because only in this way can we break the monopoly of pills in the Temple of Saint Dan. The price of pills in Shengdan Hall is too high. The key is that even if the price is high, the demand is still in short supply. Longting business is even darker. Many pills need to be obtained by auction. And when Longting auctions, its own people will ask for it and keep raising the price. Unless they reach their ideal price, they will not be able to bid at all. It can be said that there are many things in Longting business and Shengdan Hall which are extremely excessive, but there is no way, except for those who don't need the support of pills, otherwise people have to bow their heads under the low eaves. There are countless Terran strongmen sad to say that the reason why the Terran was bullied like this. The Temple of Saint Dan has a lot of credit. It's okay for you to make money, but it can't be too dark. It's okay for you to attract believers, but you can't ignore the comfort of the whole human race and develop believers for Brahma. The elixir of the Temple of Saint Dan is given priority to the power of the great Brahmin. That's why the great Brahmin alone can occupy half of the Terran kingdom. Now, Yu Qingxian even says that he can share the secret with Huayun business. The news is too shocking for them. If Shengdan Hall can really refine pills containing the law of nirvana, I'm afraid the pattern of the human race will really change. Seeing that the president still had a look of disbelief, Long Chen said with a smile, "It's nothing bad. I can't stand the practices of Shengdan Hall and Longting business. I don't ask for anything. As long as they are not happy, I will be comfortable." Seeing that Long Chen was serious, The president immediately summoned the core alchemy elders of Huayun business. Yu Qingxian directly shares her alchemy skills with Yu Danxiu. She doesn't know which of these alchemy skills are the key. They need to find out for themselves. I'm afraid it takes a long time for the elders to master the spirit of Qingxian. However, Huayun business is full of talents, which can't defeat them. After Yu Qingxian shared the alchemy with them, the president immediately began to gather alchemy experts from other branches secretly. If the problem of elixir is solved, many Terran forces will not have to give in to Shengdan Hall and Longting business, so Huayun business can compete fairly with Longting business. Those who join the Great Brahma camp for the sake of elixir may also change. In order to help these elixirs understand these mysteries more quickly, Yu Qingxian specially annotated some profound parts. In a flash, 7 days passed. Finally, with the efforts of all the people, the crux of the problem was found, which was a divine pattern formed by Yu Qingxian when he was refining pills. Yu Qingxian said that the divine pattern was taught by Dongfang Zichu after Yu Qingxian obtained the rainbow color flame. Yu Qingxian also made many pills, which were eventually taken away by Dongfang Zichu. In fact, Yu Qingchuan's alchemy at that time was far more than Dongfang Zichus. The rune that Dongfang Zi taught Yu Qingxian is called Fantian Shunwen, which originates from the original scripture in the Great Fantian scripture. Yu Qingxian didn't want Yu Qingxian to know the secret. But for those pills he had to take risks. Anyway, Yu Qingchuan's life and death were under his control, so he didn't have so many worries. He never dreamed that his practice caused endless trouble to Brahma. After finding out the Brahma divine lines, these elixirs immediately began to practice. The first few volumes of the Great Brahma Sutra are no secret in the practice world. Many elixirs also have opportunities to contact with fire. The Brahma divine pattern can only be condensed by those who have practiced the Great Brahma Sutra. Fortunately, more than a dozen of these strong people have studied the Great Brahma Sutra, and they soon condensed the Brahma divine pattern. During the alchemy, the Brahma God pattern is blessed on the furnace. The power of heaven is flowing, and there is no previous rejection phenomenon. When the furnace lid is opened, even the president, who is so calm, can't help but jump up with excitement. It's a pill. It's really a pill. Its power is the same as that of the Temple of Holy Dan. These Danxiu cheered, and some even cried with excitement. There is hope for the rise of the Terran. With these pills, the overall strength of the Terran will increase rapidly. The Terran will no longer be bullied or slaughtered by others. There's Danxiu yelling. Longchen is also a little excited. After the success of these elixirs, they don't think about how much money they can make or how to attack their competitors. The first thing they think about is the people who suffer without elixir to improve their strength. This breadth of mind, this feeling, far from those mercenary businessmen can compare. Huayun business is indeed a clear stream of business, spotless. These Danxiu people thank Longchen and Yu Qingxian one after another. Their eyes are full of gratitude. Now that I have got the Brahma pattern, the next step is to cultivate the elixir greatly and start to speed up the alchemy. As for the issue of confidentiality, Longchen doesn't need to worry about it at all. Huayun business does everything every minute. Besides, Danxiu, who can be called, is the most devout believer of the god of wealth and is absolutely reliable. The president said that he was reporting to the top management that the profit and dividend of Danyao would come down soon. However, the president said apologetically that in the early stage, elixir may not make much money. After all, elixir is a necessity for the development of the human race. Huayun business cannot use it to make more profits. Huayun business has its own bottom line. Longchen said that it doesn't matter whether he earns money or not. As long as he can make Longting business and Shengdan Temple unhappy, he will be happy. This is the typical case that money is hard to buy and I am happy. For so many years, Longchen has been taken care of by Huayun business, no matter in Fanjia or Xinjia. Although it is cooperation, Longchen is still grateful to Huayun business. The next thing, Longchen no longer participates. Longchen and Yu Qingxian retreat from the alchemy and find that hundreds of barriers have been opened here, which shows how much Huayun business attaches importance to it. Longchen and Yu Qingxian stroll hand in hand. It's the first time that they are so relaxed when they come to Niangshan. It's rare for them to take a stroll in the back garden of Huayan business. This is the territory of Huayan business. Only people from Huayan business can come in. The scenery here is beautiful, quiet, and comfortable. It is a place for Huayan business disciples to take a vacation. When Long Chen and Yu Qingxian came here, many people warmly said hello to Long Chen. After saying hello, they all left consciously for fear of disturbing them, which made Long Chen feel embarrassed. Long Chen and Yu Qingxian come to the edge of the lake hand in hand. Just as they are about to sit down on the bench, Long Chen's face suddenly changes and points to a big tree above. A strong wind blows away. www.novelhold.com, the fastest update of the web novel. Chapter 4086. Yu Qingxian was surprised. She didn't know what happened. As soon as Long Chen pointed out, there was nothing different about the big tree. Yu Qingxian just wanted to say whether Long Chen was nervous and read something wrong. After all, she didn't feel anything. But soon Yu Qingchuan's face changed. Just as Long Chen's fingers pointed out, the shadow of the big tree suddenly moved. The shadow of the big tree swayed suddenly. With a whoosh, I saw a black shadow rushing up the tree. Poof, a finger wind pierced the big tree, and the loud explosion spread, which immediately attracted countless people from Huayan business. At the same time, the sound of alarms sounded, and many big groups were opened. Dragon dust came to the tree. Several people can embrace the tree, scattered with a few drops of blood. Long Chen rubbed his fingers with blood, and then put it in his nose to smell it. There is a dark smell, the blood is cold, and the fluctuation is very strange. Long Chen's face looked at the bloodstain in his hands seriously. As he spoke, the bloodstain quickly faded, the red part disappeared and became a drop of water. Finally, even the water evaporated as if nothing had happened. What kind of creature is that? Yu Qingxian looks shocked and says that the creature is close to them, but she doesn't even notice it. It's terrible. It should be the killer of the night people. Then a voice came. Mr. President. At this time, Mr. President also came to the scene and looked dignified. The night elves of the evil elves? The heart of Long Chen jumps suddenly. Yes, the Dark Knight clan is proficient in the art of assassination. Their talent allows them to switch between flesh and shadow freely and kill without a trace. Fortunately, Mr. Long Chen has seen through his disguise. Otherwise, it's really dangerous. The president was afraid for a while. The real strength of the Dark Knight clan is not very strong, but their camouflage ability and assassination skills make it impossible for people to defend themselves. Even if the Heaven's Strong One doesn't pay attention, he may be assassinated by the Fairy King of the Dark Knight clan. I didn't see through his disguise. It was his attempt to get close to me that made me feel. When Xian felt the reflection, he couldn't judge his position, even if his hair was green. Long Chen rode. It turns out that Long Chen has a feeling, but he can't find the other side. At that time, he suddenly knows that he has met a sneaking master. Originally, Long Chen thought that the other party was hiding in the void, but he couldn't notice the abnormal fluctuation of space until Yu Qingxian turned around and the sun was shining on Yu Qingchuan's hairpin. With Yu Qingchuan's rotation, the reflection of the hairpin crossed an arc. When it crossed the big tree on the ground, the reflection disappeared. Long Chen almost instinctively launched an attack. Long Chen's reaction speed is fast enough, but still let him escape. Even Long Chen didn't see what the strong of the Dark Knight clan looked like. We have nothing to do with the Night people. Why do they want to deal with us? Yu Qingxian doesn't understand. It should be behind Longting business. The Dark Knight clan has a close relationship with Longting business. In the process of the development and growth of Longting business, they have helped Longting business a lot. Some problems that Longting business is inconvenient to solve have been solved by the Night people. Some forces have offended Longting business. It won't be long before the leaders are assassinated by the Night clan. The relationship between the Night clan and Longting business is no secret in Niangshan. The Night clan is the killer hired by Longting business to clear all the obstacles on the way to the rise of Longting business. Mr. Long Chen, recently, I will strengthen the protection of the commercial bank. Please don't go out. We'll grow up humane. Longchen said with a smile. Mr. President, you don't have to care too much. I have experience in dealing with killers. Since Longting business wants to play, I will play with them. The president also wants to persuade Longchen, but Longchen takes Yu Qingxian back to shut down. Seeing that Longchen chooses to shut down, the president is also relieved. He also thought that Longchen was afraid that he would not look good on his face and said something hard. In fact, he still wanted to avoid the Dark Knight people. Longchen, you really don't need to be serious with them. You need to take time to improve your accomplishments. Returning to the seclusion, Yu Qingxian advised. She knows Longchen's temper. She doesn't want Longchen to use so much energy to deal with the killers of the Night Clan. Longchen said with a smile, I don't compare with them. The main reason is that my practice route is different from yours. Anyway, I'm bored recently. I'll study how to deal with them. After all, if you can hide for a while, you can't hide for a lifetime. You'll have to fight them head-on. Don't worry. I won't do anything I'm not sure about. You can make alchemy with ease. I'm almost settled. It's time to make a small change. Seeing that Longchen said so, Yu Qingxian said nothing more and entered his own alchemy chamber to start alchemy. And Longchen also entered the training room. After opening all the big formations, Longchen asked, Elder, I've been waiting for so long, and it's almost over. If I wait any longer, I feel that the whole person will be abandoned. You're just too impatient. Okay, the basic part of Dragon God's training has been completed by 99%. Now you start to integrate the law of nirvana, which has no effect on the foundation. Let's start. The strong of the dragon nationality are helpless. According to its rhythm, I want Longchen to rest for another month or so to observe the precipitation of Dragon God's body refining technique. We should know that the body refining technique of Longchen is in the most basic stage and the most important stage, so we should not be careless. Once the foundation is flawed, it is irreversible, which will determine the upper limit of Longchen's body refining skill in the future. Although Longchen's performance has already exceeded its expectation, for the sake of safety, it's better to continue to settle for some time. In case of any problem, it's better to make up for it. But it can also see that Longchen is not allowed to practice. These days, Longchen's emotions are becoming a little unstable. If he stays up for another month, Longchen may go crazy. After all, it is a strong dragon with unimaginable shouyuan, so it has no concept of time and has no deep understanding of the impatient character of the human race. But he knows the character of Longchen. If Longchen is allowed to wait, this guy may enter the rebellious period, so he can only reluctantly agree. Get Dragon's strong reply. Dragon dust suddenly smile on the face, hands rapid seal. The trembling dragon, which belongs to heaven and earth, begins to absorb the power of heaven and earth. Dragon dust's blessing is simple and rude, and can't be refused. When endless aura of heaven and earth rushes into Dragon Dust's body, Dragon Dust's long-standing cultivation finally begins to loosen. Hey, it's time to show your strength in Niangshan. Third Master Long is about to make a strong debut. Feel the change of the body, Dragon Dust suddenly heroic. P.S. No save manuscript plus change, code a chapter, update a chapter. I wish you a happy 2021. Also hope you can have a good start. www.novelhold.com, the fastest update of the web novel. Chapter 4087. When the aura of heaven and earth is extracted by the divine ring, the dragon rune in Longchen's body begins to wake up slowly. Longchen feels the surging power in his body, as if he has endless power. Longchen hasn't practiced for a long time. He didn't expect that there would be such a big change when he came to Nirvana. He was shocked. Nirvana is the second best preserved world in the 9 days. As for the dark days and purple days that you have been to, the lack of the way of heaven limits your progress. It's a bad thing, it's also a good thing. The bad thing is that it makes you enter slowly. The good thing is that in the incomplete way of heaven, you can integrate the power of heaven and earth, and make your body in a state of hunger and thirst. When you are in the complete way of heaven, The closeness between the body and the way of heaven will increase rapidly, which is not possessed by the local strong. The road of practice is like a race. No one will lose at the starting line. Running fast is not necessarily a good thing, and running slowly is not necessarily a bad thing. In the end, it depends on who can run further. And you, always impetuous, desperately running forward, it's easy to ignore some important things. The dragon people are strong. It means that Long Chen is too impetuous, constantly pursuing the speed of strength and realm, and has no time to precipitate, which will cause problems sooner or later. I can't help it. Fate is like an invisible hand, pushing me forward. There's a rolling mill behind me. Once I stop, it will crush me. What can I do? I want to be lazy, I want to relax. Long Chen has some grievances. Hearing what Long Chen said, the dragon strongman was silent. Suddenly, Long Chen turned his eyes and said to the dragon strongman, "Master, why don't you tell me about the Lord of the 9 Stars? Let me see further and plan my future, just as you said, according to the department." "Forget it. Just think I didn't say anything just now. Don't talk to me. The dragon people are strong. Dragon dust." Long Chen tried to find out more about the 9 stars by telling the dragon strongman several times, but the dragon strongman kept his mouth shut and refused to reveal a word. Seeing that the dragon strongman did not speak, Long Chen could not help but continue to absorb the aura between heaven and earth. At this time, his body is like a dry riverbed, greedily absorbing rain and dew, getting the moisture of aura. Long Chen feels that he has become a part of heaven and earth. Long Chen has never felt like this before. He is both surprised and happy. He seems to have entered the realm of heaven and earth. "Master, did I reach the height of heaven ahead of time?" Long Chen exclaimed pleasantly. Because at that moment, Long Chen felt the affinity of heaven and earth, and he could use this power wantonly. With his mind, these forces of heaven and earth wound around him. Long Chen's big hand is open, and the power of heaven is attached to his hand in an instant, and the void vibrates slightly. The feeling of free will is simply wonderful. That's the blessing of the dragon spirit of heaven. After the dragon blood lays eggs, it will enter a certain dormancy period. That's why you have to wait. That's one of the reasons. The dormancy period is over. The egg of dragon blood, nourished by the aura of heaven, will become the egg of dragon spirit. With the help of heaven and earth, you can control the power of heaven. Your ability has something in common with the power of heaven's way, and the difference lies in the strength and weakness. Although our dragon clan is favored by heaven and earth, our dragon clan is not good at magic, so heaven's blessing will not give you too much help in the fierce battle. As for controlling the body of heaven, I haven't thought about how you can speed up your fighting ability. The dragon people are strong. Even if the dragon dust is still surprised, the dragon dust still knows the effect. The dragon dust unfolds the internal vision, and finds that after the dragon blood egg in the body changes into the dragon spirit egg, it changes from golden color to translucent appearance, and it seems that there are strange runes in it. Long Chen has been practicing in the closed room for 3 days. Suddenly, his body explodes and the void trembles. The cracks like cobwebs spread in all directions with Long Chen as the center. Boom! In the training ground where Long Chen was, there was a violent shaking, the walls cracked, the endless array was propped up, the roof burst open, and a golden radiance rushed into the sky. At this time, the loud sound of dragon chant resounded through the heaven and earth, and the dragon dust promoted the immortal King Chongtian. However, the movement was so big that Long Chen was shocked. The training field here was the top one, and it was blown up by Long Chen. At this time, Yu Qingxian, Guoran, Xia Chen and others came to see what happened. When they saw the cultivation of Long Chen, they immediately understood, but when they saw the fragmented cultivation site, their faces were full of excitement. "Boss, you're promoted to Chongtian. It's too much. He boss is boss. Now, you can take us across Ninefold." Guoran smiles. The more powerful the dragon dust is, the more excited they are. It's just a heavy day, and they can burst out such a terrible momentum. How strong will the future boss be? After recovering from the shock, Long Chen apologizes to Huayun Business. However, The president laughs and praises Long Chen's strength. The atmosphere of promotion is comparable to that of promotion. In this way, make dragon dust more embarrassed, secretly determined, later can't in closed place to enhance strength. After being promoted to the immortal king for one day, Long Chen feels that he is in harmony with the Tao. When he raises his hands and raises his feet, the power of heaven flows and becomes one. He has the power to bless at any time. That feeling is wonderful. Even Long Chen has a feeling that even if he meets the strong, he has the power of the First World War. Now he feels that he is full of strength. Although it's only a heaven for the immortal king, Long Chen has the active blessing of the power of heaven, which has never been done before. This makes him full of confidence. Mr. President, thank you for your hospitality these days. Long Chen saluted the president. Mr. Long Chen, this is. The president was surprised. Yes, we're leaving. Long Chen said with a smile. How can it be? Longting Business and Dark Knight are waiting for you? The president's face changed. The road of practice should have gone up to meet difficulties. How can they shrink back? Since they miss me, I can't let them wait too long. Long Chen said, let the president how to retain, finally out of the door of Huayan Business. The president saw that he couldn't keep Long Chen, so he went to inform the senior management. In his opinion, Long Chen's going out like this is no different from his own death. Just as Long Chen walked out of the gate, he felt several strange waves and a gloomy smile appeared on his face. You can practice. www.novelhold.com, the fastest update of the web novel. Chapter 4088. Long Chen and others have just walked out of the gate of Huayan Business. It's noon and the sun is shining on the earth. In the shadow of countless buildings, Long Chen feels strange fluctuations. One day after being promoted to the immortal king, Long Chen has the blessing of the dragon spirit. Under the affinity of heaven, he has a sharper perception. This kind of perception, in the dragon's words, is called blood perception, which means that all creatures with the power of qi and blood will be perceived. What is more advanced than qi and blood perception is soul perception. Some creatures can seal qi and blood to escape perception. But qi and blood can be sealed, but soul can't, otherwise it will be sealed, and this kind of hiding will have no meaning. It's just that Long Chen is not a dragon family. Without a dragon soul, all he can do is to feel his blood. But even so, it's enough. Before Long Chen, even if he sensed the intention of killing, he couldn't lock the other person's position. Now it's different. Long Chen can clearly perceive that there are more than 10 fluctuations in the shadow, and as Long Chen goes out of the courtyard, there are more and more fluctuations in the shadow. It seems that they used some method to transmit in the shadow, but the space fluctuates without any abnormality, which is extremely strange. Long Chen pretends to be indifferent and says goodbye to the people of Huayan Business firm with a smile. Then he goes all the way along the main street of the city without any intention of concealing. Boss, where are we going? Guoran asked. When we run out of money and empty-handed, we should help the weak and rob the rich to help the poor. Long Chen is serious. Haha, this is good. Hearing that, Xia Chen and Guoran were excited. What is it to help the weak and rob the rich to help the poor? Yu Qingxian couldn't understand. Her big eyes were full of doubts. Long Chen is embarrassed and doesn't know how to explain. He can't tell Yu Qingxian that they are going to rob. Soon, a large area of buildings appeared in front of her. One of them was a magnificent domed building with 4 big characters on it, Longting Business. At that moment, Yu Qingxian seemed to understand. Longting Business covers a larger area than Huayan Business, and its buildings are more magnificent. In Ninefold, as long as there is Huayan Business, there must be a Longting Business not far away. Sometimes, Longting Business is just opposite Huayan Business. Therefore, as soon as Long Chen comes out of Huayan Business, you can see the buildings of Longting Business. As Long Chen and others go to Longting Business, Long Chen senses more and more fluctuations. Long Chen suddenly understands that the feelings of these Dark Knight people are hidden in Longting Business. Before, Long Chen thought that the Night Clan and Longting Business were in collusion, but in order to act, he still had to keep a certain distance. Now he found that he was wrong, and others came blatantly. It seems that these people are also very strange. Long Chen left Huayan business. Do not immediately escape. How to go straight to Longting business? What is this to do? When Long Chen first came out, he felt that these people were ready to move, and seemed to be ready to start at any time. But now he calmed down and seemed to be watching the change. Long Chen ignores those strong people who hide in the shadow, and leads people to Longting business. When you come to the gate of Longting business, a touch of sarcasm appears in the corner of Long Chen's mouth. The steps of Longting business are very high. You need to look up here to see the guard at the gate. It's not a place to do business. It's the Yamen gate. It stresses fair trade. This gate has already shown Long Teng's attitude. To do business with them, we need to keep a low profile. Stop, you are. Before the arrival of Long Chen, there were two gods standing at the gate, looking at Long Chen with contempt. Long Chen sneers. It's a clear question. Long Chen just doesn't believe that Longting business usually puts two gods to guard the door. I'm here to collect taxes. Choking. When Long Chen finished, Ming Hong's sword came out of its sheath and slashed at the gate. Boom! With a bang, the whole city suddenly trembled. The huge gate tower was chopped into powder by Long Chen's knife, and the two gods and strong men were almost killed by the terrible wind. They never dreamed that Long Chen would dare to challenge Longting business. It's crazy. Boom! There were dozens of masters hidden behind the gate, but after the gate was smashed, Long Chen cut down again, and the dozens of strong men flew out like a rolling gourd, smashing the surrounding buildings one after another. Robbery. Long Chen rushes into the gate, stops drinking, thunders, and the whole city trembles in the roar of Long Chen. Boss, don't we collect taxes? Guoran didn't understand. Long Chen glared at Guoran and said, we need to compile the names for tax collection. It's better to loot them. Don't talk nonsense and hurry to work. Deceiving others too much, yellow-mouthed child, you are looking for death. At this time, a roar came, and before the people appeared, Long Chen knew that he was the heavenly leader of Longting business that day. Sure enough, in the roar, the void trembled, and the Tianzuan strongman of Longting business appeared. His face was full of murders, but his eyes were full of excitement. He was thinking about how to kill Long Chen quietly, but he didn't expect Long Chen to come to his door. Isn't it a surprise? Cut the crap. I drive the road and plant the tree. In a word, everything here is mine. I advise you to give up your resistance. After all, money belongs to business firms, and life belongs to you. We only seek wealth, not death. Putting down resistance is your only way out. Long Chen cried out. Ha ha ha. This is the biggest joke he has ever seen in his life. Someone robbed him. Do you think it's seen here? Today, none of you want to live. Come on, open up the big battle and kill them all, leaving no one alive. The face of the god of Longting business is gloomy. Buzz. With his words falling, the border lights up over Longting business. There are dozens of roads. In a moment, it becomes an indestructible cage. Long Chen, take your secret to die. After the border blockade, the Tianzuan strongman of Longting business firm suddenly waved his hand with a smile. At this time, the whole world suddenly became dark, cold bones, as if in the dark. Long Chen also laughed. Do you look down on me like this? Some rookies from Fairyland want to kill me too? Dragon Dust suddenly leans on the ground with a long sword, and the thunderball appears on his left hand. The moment the thunderball appears, the dark night is lit. In the light of thunder, you can see shadows rushing to Dragon Dust with sharp blades. Guoran, Xia Chen and others were startled. They didn't know there was such a group of terror around them. The shadows were exposed to the thunder and ran around as if they were frightened. It's too late. The thunder is out. Dragon Dust a break drink, the hands of thunder burst open, into thunder waves, a moment to devour these creatures. www.novelhold.com, the fastest update of the web novel. Chapter 4089, Puff, Puff, Puff. In people's eyes of horror, the bodies of the creatures of the Night Clan burst into pieces, filled with blood fog and disappeared. The Tianzuan strongman of Longting business was surprised. The killer of the Night clan was so terrible that he was killed in this way? You know, there are 36 strong immortal kings, and they are basically the existence of the peak of the immortal king. They are also the elite killers selected carefully, but they are so vulnerable in front of Longchen. You know, any of the 36 killers of the Shadow Clan has the strength comparable to those who respect the strong. In addition to their talent of Shadow Clan, they even have the possibility to assassinate Tianzuan. They sent out a whole 36 people. They already looked up to Longchen, but unexpectedly, they were destroyed in an instant. A group of idiots, as expected, are dying of light, exposing their figures. They want to be invisible at the first time, just like a killer who fails to hit the target and has to run away quickly. But I don't know that stealth means losing absolute protection. They only need to break out undifferentiated attack, and they will lose half their lives even if they don't die. Longchen sneers. Although he doesn't know about the Dark Knight clan, Longchen deals with the killers in Shueisha Hall and Jiuyo Hall all the year round, and has a certain understanding of the killer's means. The reason why the killer has the ability to assassinate is that he can instantly concentrate all his power when assassinating. It's also powerful in attack and evasion. So the killers can't hit the target in a single blow, but they can't escape when they are caught. They can only be killed honestly, even easier than killing an ant. After hearing what Longchen said, the Tianzuan strongman of Longting business firm understood the truth. Although he had been dealing with the Shadow Clan for a long time, he didn't know the fatal weakness of the Shadow Clan. I have 2 skills, but I still can't change your fate of being killed, so I'll deal with you myself. The Tianzuan strongman of Longting business said something coldly. With his big hand open, a long gun appeared in his hand. To deal with a fairy king boy, he used his portable weapons. It can be seen that he didn't despise Longchen. Longchen's kindness to Guoran, Xiaochen and others, follow the original plan, no problem. No problem, I'm familiar with it. Guoran made a reassuring gesture, and then summoned the battle armor. With a break, he led the man straight to the backyard of Longting business. A bunch of idiots, go to hell. The emperor of Longting Commercial Bank is very angry. Guoran and others are heading for the bank, which is where the treasure house of Longting Commercial Bank is. At this time, they still want to rob the treasure house. This is taking him as the heir. He is so angry that he goes straight to Guoran and others for stabbing. However, the moment he just shot, he felt a sharp sense of killing and locked him in. At that moment, his hair stood up and his back was cold. Choking, at this moment, the god ring behind the dragon dust lights up, and the golden scales cover the whole body. In the loud sound of the dragon chanting, the long sword comes out of the sheath and goes straight to the Tianzuan of Longting business firm. The power of the dragon dust, in the blink of an eye to the extreme, just like a sheep, instantly transformed into a dragon. The terrible impact let the sky tremble. If it was in the past, Longchen would never dare to release his power to the extreme in a moment, so his body would not be able to bear it. But now his body is strong enough. In addition, with the blessing of the dragon spirit and the blessing of heaven, his strength becomes rigid and soft, full of elasticity, so that he won't hurt himself. What? The emperor of Longting business was shocked. He quickly took back his spear block. As soon as the vision behind him opened, he was cut by Longchen. Boom boom. The Tianzuan strongman of Longting Trading Company was cut off by Longchen. In front of the powerful power, he was like a meteor, and ran through countless buildings, which burst into pieces after being pierced. Boom, then there was a big bang, and the boundary in the sky trembled. It turned out that the strong man of Longting Commercial Bank bumped into the back door from the front door, hit the boundary, and was bounced back. Poof! The Tianzuan strong man of Longting business spewed out blood, and Longchen's knife hurt him. He was surprised, angry and scared. Fortunately, at the critical moment, he opened the vision. If he was at the first line of the night, he would be killed by Longchen. He was too careless. He thought that with his own strength, he could easily win the dragon dust and others without calling the vision. At the same time, he is also afraid that he will exert too much force to cause more damage here. After all, this is his own territory. If it's broken, it's all money. As a result, it almost killed him because of this worry. How could he not be angry and not afraid? Cloud Dragon offering claws. Just at this time, the dragon dust stops drinking, like the roar of the god. In the sound of the startling dragon, a dragon claw full of golden scales comes out of the god ring behind the dragon dust and goes straight to the Tianzuan strongman of Longting business. Before the dragon's claws fall, the way of heaven collapses, the earth cracks, and endless buildings turn into powder in an instant, while the clothes on the Tianzuan strongman of Longting business are as small as a butterfly. At that moment, the Tianzuan strongman of Longting business was frightened. He could not imagine how a fairy boy could have such terrible power. 3 flowers burn the world, and the venerable is heaven. The god of Longting business roars. Behind him, the 3-color world which was originally integrated suddenly separates and turns into 3 divine flowers. Boom! The 3 sacred flowers are burning, and the endless energy between heaven and earth is ignited. The heavenly power of Longting firm gnashes his teeth. He is fighting against the enemy in the way of self-mutilation. Originally, he had to consume Shouyuan to maintain the state of heaven. Now, burning 3 flowers will consume Shouyuan more quickly. If he burns the 3 flowers in one vision, he will gain 10 times of power. But in that way, after a blow, he will consume all his Shouyuan. Even if he wins, he will die immediately. If you split the trichromatic vision into 3 flowers to burn, it can double its power. Although the power increase is small, the loss is also within the acceptable range. The Emperor of Longting business is burning 3 flowers behind his back. The rune lights up on the long gun in his hand. His whole strength gathers and stabs the dragon claw of Longchen. Boom! With a burst of noise, the dragon claws hit the earth heavily, and the boundless waves destroyed all the buildings. In Longting business, countless strong people turned into nothingness in an instant. Boom! Then the dragon claws burst into pieces, and a big pit appeared under the dragon claws. In the big pit, the Tianzuan strongman of Longting business was lying there, his eyes were lost, and he had more air in and less air out. He burned the blow of 3 flowers, and finally failed to defeat the dragon claw of Longchen. Although the dragon claw finally burst, it was the common result of his strength and the earth's anti-earthquake force. If he had the strength to fight the blow, the dragon claw would burst in the void, not after it fell to the ground. Boom boom. At this time, the border that shrouded Huayan business suddenly burst into pieces, and countless powerful people in the city looked at it in horror, and the whole city fell into stagnation. www.novelhold.com, the fastest update of the web novel. Chapter 4090 Prosperous. No, it should be said that the luxury Huayan commercial building complex has become a ruin. In the ruins, a huge dragon claw is deeply immersed in the earth. Looking at the dying old man in the center of the dragon claw, people can't imagine that this is still the arrogant and domineering god power. Even the strong men of Huayan business were stunned. At the beginning, they were worried that Long Chen and others would be killed, and they also thought about how to protect them. The evolution of things caught them by surprise. Long Chen takes a deep breath and is blessed by the power of heaven. It's like a long handle for a sledgehammer. Not only can it make this move more destructive, but also because you don't have to worry about the anti-shock force to hurt yourself, you can go all out without any reservation. It's like holding a hammer to smash a stone and holding a hammer with a long handle to smash a stone. The difference between the two forces is too big. One is afraid to use his full strength because he is afraid of shaking his hand, while the other is reckless and swings round. The power of heaven, the dragon strongman said, can give Longchen very limited help, but in fact, it is too important for Longchen. After all, he is not a dragon, he does not have a huge body to offset the terrible anti-earthquake force, but with the power of heaven he can take advantage of it. Yu Qingchuan's face is dull, and her jade hand covers her lips. She never thought that Long Chen had such terrible strength. You know, during this period of time, she has been around Longchen. In the hot purple day, they can't fight against Tianzuan. How long has it been? Longchen can defeat Tianzuan. This progress is too frightening. Boss, I got it. At this time, Xia Chen and others rush in, their faces full of excitement. They rush into the treasure house for the first time. Xia Chen is responsible for destroying the array, and Guoran and others are responsible for destroying the chain. They can't open the treasure house in a short time, so they directly move the whole treasure house away. Now Longchen has no black dagger. This method is also feasible, fast and clean. Wow, old man, you live so hard. I'll be a good man and give you a ride. When Guoran saw the powerful man lying in the pit and unable to move, he raised his hand and pierced his head with a golden arrow. He killed him, but even Yuan Shen didn't escape. "They'll go. Don't be shameful." Xia Chen despised him for a while. He knew that Guoran would tell others that Lao Tzu had killed a powerful man himself. Among these people, only Guoran had the cheek to pick up the ready-made ones. "Come on, someone will come soon." Xia Chen quickly takes out the boat and goes away with the crowd. As soon as Long Chen and others leave, there is a smell of terror. When these people appear, all the onlookers in the ancient city shrink back in a hurry. 1, 2, 3, 4, oh my God, there are 9 strong men in heaven all of a sudden. Long Teng's reaction speed is very fast. Some people in the city exclaimed that Long Chen and others robbed Longteng business. The method was clean and efficient. They did it in 3 times, 5 times and 2 times. They were incredibly skilled. And the reaction speed of Longteng business is also extremely amazing. It is clear that the transmission array has collapsed. How did they arrive so fast? In addition to the 9 celestial strongmen, there are hundreds of them who come here in a murderous manner. When they see the corpse of the celestial strongman, the devastation, and the big pit where the treasure house is located, they will go crazy one by one. They looked around, and all the onlookers were too scared to look at them. Who did it? Stand up for me? One of the most powerful men in Longteng business called out. "Lord Qi, it's a young man named Long Chen who leads a group of people. It's from Huayun business." Then someone came out and said, "That person's power is equal to the vassal power of Longteng business." So he stood up and answered for the first time. "Huayun Commercial Bank?" The old man was so angry that these powerful men came to the gate of Huayun business immediately. "The dragon dust has escaped." The man was in a hurry. "Run away? Huayun Commercial Bank must also give us an account." The mighty roared. At this moment, the nameplate on their waist lights up rapidly, and their faces suddenly change. "No, the business in Qingyu City is attacked, isn't it?" The other one couldn't believe it. "Let's go, they can't afford to embarrass Huayun business." 9 people cast their skills at the same time. When the void trembles, these strong people disappear in an instant. No, Long Chen didn't escape but went to the next family? All the strong men in the city were so surprised that their chins were about to drop when they watched the group leave. Bang! With a loud noise and a huge 10, the whole Longteng business was torn to pieces. The leader of Longteng business, the Tianzuan strongman, was bleeding violently, his whole body cracked and almost killed. Qi Huer, pull to shout. Dragon dust a break to drink after winning the dragon dust and others, driving the boat, once again whistling away. "You give me poof." The old man, who was seriously injured, wanted to catch up with him. He was so angry that he burst out with blood. But he felt like the sky was spinning around and he didn't breathe. He suddenly fainted. Haha, the third one. This time, it's half less than the previous 2 times. It shows that we still have a lot of room to improve our cooperation. Guoran laughed. Long Chen is in charge of breaking the door. Guoran, Xia Chen and others go straight to the treasure house. Yu Qingxian sets fire to attract the enemy's attention. When he leads out the heavenly strongman, Long Chen looks for a surprise and strikes, hitting the enemy hard. After the treasure is acquired, you can leave directly. However, after 2 successive attacks of dragon dust, the consumption is too large, and you can no longer use the Cloud Dragon Claw. The 3rd time, it was the Dragon Blood Army's joint attack, which severely damaged the strong one. In the last 2 times, they didn't kill anyone, but ran after they got the treasure. It's really developed this time. Ninengshan's Longteng business is very rich. Now, we should be able to compete with Mo Nyen. Summer Morning is also excited. Ninefold's Longting business has endless treasures, almost all kinds of materials, and even many treasures they don't know. There are all kinds of alchemy, casting, practicing, building, etc. As long as you can think of them, there are also unexpected ones. After robbing Longting business, people feel that they have been broadened their horizons. At the same time, they also feel that their knowledge is too narrow. Many things have already involved their blind area of knowledge. Sure enough, robbery is the quickest way to get rich. How bold a man is and how rich a land is. Guoran said with a smile. Guoran's smile made everyone laugh, but Yu Qingxian wanted to say nothing. www.novelhold.com, the fastest update of the web novel. Chapter 4091. What happened to Qingxian? Seeing that Yu Qingchuan's face is different, Long Chen can't help asking, "Is this really good for us?" After hesitating for a long time, Yu Qingxian finally said. Long Chen looks at Yu Qingxian and knows that Yu Qingxian is good-natured. If he does such a bad thing, he will feel guilty. So Long Chen told Yu Qingxian in detail about how Longting business presented living people as sacrifices to Devil's Eye, how Bei's brothers and sisters were cheated and died with hatred. How can Longting business be so evil? Betray one's kindred? Yu Qingxian was completely shocked and said angrily. Before, Long Chen had a conflict with Longting Commercial Bank in Xi'an. Yu Qingxian thought that it was just that Long Chen didn't like their bossy behavior and taught them a lesson. Unexpectedly, the hatred between Long Chen and Longting Commercial Bank was so deep. In the eyes of the devil, the secret part of the communication between Long Chen and Huaishu is only known to two people. Long Chen doesn't want to keep secrets, but doesn't want Yu Qingchuan's beautiful eyes to see the ugliness of human nature. Now Yu Qingxian thinks that he can't help but ask him too much. Didn't the president say that? The most terrible thing is that businessmen have no faith. As long as it is profitable, not to mention the same race, even the flesh and blood of parents can be sold. I have no ability to destroy them now, so I can only use his wealth to arm myself in the way of robbing the rich and helping the poor, until one day, I will completely destroy these guys. Long Chen rode. Long Chen, I'm sorry, I shouldn't question you. Yu Qingxian suddenly blushes with embarrassment. Long Chen laughed. Silly girl, why can't you question me? I'm also a human being. I make mistakes. If I make a mistake one day, you must bring it up. Don't let me go further and further on the wrong road. How could you be wrong? I believe you. Yu Qingxian said with a smile. Long Chen also smiles, but he says in his heart, how can people not make mistakes? Mistakes are not terrible. What's terrible is that they don't know they are making mistakes. Boss, are we going to the next one? Summer Morning excited tunnel. He has been addicted. This instant rich feeling is too good. Before Long Chen could speak, Guoran said, "It's easy for you to speak. You just need to unlock the rune. The boss and we have made great efforts. You have to let us take a breath, don't you?" I robbed 3 of them in one breath. Except for Xiachen, they were all very tired and consumed too much to take any more risks. Long Chen nodded and said, "What Guoran said is right. Don't be careless. The 3 heavenly masters we met are not fighting heavenly masters." Not a fighting god? What's that? The crowd was stunned. The 3 Tianzins of Longting business, including the president, are all for maintaining the Tianzuan realm and giving themselves an identity. To put it bluntly, they are the lowest level of Tianzuan realm, and their strength is just the entry-level standard. The real Tianzuan strongman must be much more terrible. Long Chen rode. Boom. At this moment, the void roared, the sky split, the flying boat in the morning of summer was locked in an instant, and the vast divine power came from all directions. Ignorant boy, if you dare to rob Longting business, you will be beaten to pieces today. Roar came, a large group of strong appeared, surrounded by Long Chen and others. It was the Tianzuan strong of Longting business that came after them. Pretty fast. The crowd was intercepted, but there was no panic. Long Chen stood on the boat and looked coldly at the 9 strong men in front of him. Boy, who are you? Dare to rob Longting business. Are you ready to die? The first old man snapped. At this time, the other heavens strong, and those earths strong, have also surrounded the boat, not giving Long Chen a chance to escape. Well, there's no need to say that there's no nutritional nonsense. If you want to arrange the formation, you can arrange it directly. There's no need to attract my attention. If I want to escape, you want to catch up with me? Do you think I'm an idiot like you? Long Chen sneers. The leader roared deliberately to attract their attention. Others had already stood in a specific position. Everyone was holding the array disc. This was to set up the formation and wanted to catch Long Chen and others alive. Who is Long Chen? Don't they know? This is clearly for the fool to listen to. This trick is too low level. As Long Chen said, if he really wants to escape, he will not take the boat, but directly let Xia Chen do the non-directional transmission, so that they can't track them at all. You mean on purpose? The old man's face was gloomy, and he found something wrong. It's not a guide. It's my business to go or not. It's your freedom to pursue or not. If you can meet each other, let's see our fate. Dragon Dust Light Tunnel. At this time, Huaishu has been standing behind Long Chen. He knows that it's time for him to do it. When the people of Longting Business saw Uncle Huai, they could not help but change their face and recognized him. When he just came to Niangshan, Huaishu was rescued from the devil's eyes by Long Chen. Not long after that, his strength was still recovering, so the three elders of the Yi family just looked away. Now it's more and more difficult for him to recover his strong identity. The well water of the undead and our Longting Business does not violate the river water. Is this a declaration of war on behalf of the undead to our Longting Business? The old man snapped. Obviously, he was afraid of Uncle Huai. They know that the immortals are far superior to them. Even if they have 9 of them, they may not be able to win him. I don't represent the undead. I only obey my master. I will kill whoever my master asks me to kill. Huaishu Light Tunnel. Master? That heaven strong suddenly surprised. He how also can't imagine arrogant undead clan, how can become other people's slave. Boom. At this time, the void roared, and a group of heavenly horses roared from the void. The vast pressure made the heaven and earth ripple. The heavenly horse is flying in the sky, and its wings vibrate. You can see figures on the back of the heavenly horse. 2 of the heavenly horses have amazing breath, and they are heaven-class monsters. At that moment, Long Chen's face changed. He thought that it was the strong man of Longting Business. He thought that the strong man who could control the heaven-level monster was absolutely powerful. However, Long Chen soon found that the face of the people in Longting Business changed. He thought the same as Long Chen, thinking that these people were from Long Chen's side. Boom! Tianma's hooves were flying, his wings were trembling, and they roared away from the people's heads. The people of Longchen and Longting Business were relieved. However, when the heavenly horses were about to disappear, they suddenly turned around and ran straight here. At this time, the people of Longchen and Longting Business are nervous again and ready for battle. When this group of people ran close, Tianma slowed down, and a woman came down from Tianma. The woman's eyes were like autumn water, and she looked at Longchen with an unbelievable look. Longchen was surprised when she looked at the woman. How could it be her? www.novelhold.com, the fastest update of the web novel. Chapter 4092. Not only Long Chen was shocked, but Guo Ran, Xia Chen and others were also shocked when they saw her. This woman is slender and extremely beautiful. She came down from Tianma like a 9-heaven Xuanu. She was dressed in a palace dress, which shows her grace. This is a beautiful woman, the kind of love, more importantly, her back 3 colors of divine light flow, even with the heavens strong. However, she was not a strong celestial being, but a beautiful fairy king. However, the prestige attached to her was not much worse than that of the strong celestial being. Behind her, the white-winged heavenly horse stood there haughtily and looked at the crowd coldly. It was a monster in the heaven, and its breath was even stronger than that of the heaven-strong men in Longting Business. The white-winged heavenly horse is a variant of the ancient monster silver-winged heavenly horse. It inherits the speed of the silver-winged heavenly horse, but also mutates its own sacred attribute. Together with it, it is easier to get close to the way of heaven, make the practice faster and easier to break through the bottleneck. Moreover, the wings of the white-winged heavenly horse have special divine lines. It has the power to break the air, can hurt the enemy, and can be transmitted. It is a very special species of monsters, which is extremely precious. When they saw the sign on the white horse saddle, the faces of Longting Business and others eased down, and they recognized the identity of these people. I don't know if the heroes of the Jiang family have any advice for Longting Business to catch the important criminals, said the man from Longting Business. These white-winged heavenly horses bear the special mark of the Jiang family, and the cuffs and collars of these people also bear the mark of the Jiang family, which is easy to identify. The Jiang family, one of the 8 immortal families, has a great reputation in the human race, and few people don't know it. However, these people are very low-key and don't show the flag of the Jiang family, so the people of Longting Business didn't recognize it. There are 32 white-winged heavenly horses, all of which ride on the strong young celestial kings. Each of them is breathtaking and full of pride. The beauty who led the group didn't even look at the people in Longting Business. She was shocked. She came to Longchen, looked at Longchen for a long time, and finally said, "It's incredible that you are still alive." Longchen was stunned and then said with a smile, "Of course I'm alive, and am living a very nourishing life. Phoenix Fairy, don't be hurt." This woman is no other than Jiang Fengfei, who was the pride of the Yuan family in Tianwu. They are not friends, but they are not enemies. At least at the beginning, Longchen was tit for tat by the 4 families. Fengfei didn't stand on the side of the family or Longchen, but she chose to stand on her own side. Because of this, she didn't die in Longchen's hands. Now seeing Jiang Fengfei, Longchen doesn't know what it's like. For example, today, Wu Mainland has disappeared, and his old friend has passed away. After the time has passed, the hatred is still buried in Longchen's heart, but for Fengfei, Longchen has no hatred, but they are not friends. Seeing that Longchen admitted, a smile gradually appeared on Fengfei's face. She nodded and said, "I was very sad to learn that you had disappeared with Tianwu Mainland. I cried a lot." Longchen couldn't help but be stunned. A strange smile appeared on Guoran's and Xiachen's faces. Fengfei said, "Don't get me wrong. I cry because the world without you is like losing the color it should have. That feeling is very sad. Oh, I can't imagine that in your heart, you still feel that the world needs people like me. Longchen has some accidents. Of course, we have different positions, but I like your character very much, and I hope I can fight against all injustice like you." After I was sad at that time, I sorted out my mood and began to practice hard. Until a month ago, my master informed me to go through the customs. I was going to Zhang's house. Unexpectedly, I met you here. Fengfei rode. Dragon does this just understand, no wonder Phoenix Philippines don't know he is still alive, feelings have been closed. However, the Jiang family and the Long family may not be as friendly as they were in Tianwu Mainland. Even if Long Outyin tells the Long family that he is still alive, the Long family may not spread. So, Fengfei doesn't know his situation, can understand, even if Fengfei doesn't shut up, it's unlikely to know his situation. Tianwu farewell, Phoenix Fairy strength has reached such a high level, it is enviable. Longchen looks at Fengfei with amazing momentum, and there is endless power flow in her body. On Fengfei, Longchen feels great pressure, which is much greater than the Heaven's Strong One. Longchen knows that Fengfei must have an adventure in Jiang's house, otherwise she won't be so terrible. Fengfei said with a smile, "As the immortal seedling of the Jiang family, I have been planted seeds since I was born. It's natural that I can achieve what I am now. It's you, Longchen, who have come here with the strength of one person. Fengfei really admires you. In addition," Fengfei looks around, looks at the powerful men in Longting Business, and looks at the Huaishu behind Longchen. There is a trace of cunning in Fengfei's eyes. Your character hasn't changed at all. Are you playing pig and eating tiger again? Fengfei's eyes were sharp, and she saw the strength of Uncle Huai. Longchen was embarrassed and said, Not really. Looking at Long Chen's embarrassed appearance, Feng Fei suddenly can't help giggling. Even the young strong men who are with him are stunned. It seems that for the first time I've known Feng Fei for such a long time, I see Feng Fei laughing at a man like this. Long Chen, you are so interesting. Sure enough, the world will add more colors because of you. I don't know how long we'll have to talk with you if we have something to do. Feng Fei seems very happy to see Long Chen. With a smile on her face, she jumps on the white-winged horse and waves goodbye to Long Chen. The people in Longting business are confused. They can see that Feng Fei's strength is terrible. Feng Fei and Long Chen are old friends and seem to have a lot of connections. They can't figure out the relationship between them. Feng Fei's humanity to Longting business after waving to Long Chen is as follows. I want to remind you that there is a little relationship between the Jiang family and Longting business. This guy is not something you can afford. Boom! With these words, Feng Fei's white-winged Tianma's wings vibrated and crossed a beautiful arc in the sky, whistling away with everyone and disappearing into the sky in an instant. The strong men of Longting business are all stupid. Longting business has certain business relations with the 8 immortal families, among which the relationship with the Jiang family is really close. That's why they are not nervous when they see the people of the Jiang family. Now Feng Fei reminds them, which makes them confused. What does it mean? Whatever your origin, take it from me and take it back. The Tianzuan strong man of Longting business gave a cold drink and waved his big hand. Everyone immediately took his hand and went straight to Long Chen and others to kill him. www.novelhold.com, the fastest update of the web novel. Chapter 4093. The Emperor of Longting business also realized that it was not good. Even the people of the Jiang family said that Long Chen was not easy to provoke. However, he misinterpreted the meaning of Feng Fei. He thought that the background of Long Chen was very strong, and Longting business could not be provoked. But Long Chen robbed 3 Longting firms in a row, and Longting firm could not swallow this breath. No matter how hard the backstage of Long Chen was, it had to give Longting firm an explanation. No matter what the background of Long Chen is, just catch him and don't kill him. As for the future, let the senior management deal with it. So when he ordered them to go back, he was telling everyone that he wanted to catch those alive. Other strong men also understood what he meant. At the same time, he killed other people in the Dragon Blood Army, and some of them even rushed to Yu Qingxian. They scattered their attacks, trying to make Huaishu overwhelmed, but they couldn't take care of the left and the right. As long as they took some people, others would never be tenacious. It's hard to persuade the damned ghost. Don't leave your hand, Uncle Huai. See, these people finally chose to hand Long Chen a sneer. Bang! At the moment when those people took the hand, Uncle Huai showed his body, endless branches, like sharp swords, shot indiscriminately, and instantly covered the whole world. Puff, puff, puff. Those who took the lead were pierced by the branches of trees, and burst into pieces, destroying both the body and the spirit, while those who took the lead roared and resisted frantically. Boom! The branches, like long spears and strange spears, pierce the void and the earth, and constantly stir outward. Heaven and earth are woven into cages. In accordance with the order of Long Chen, Huaishu didn't keep his hand. He broke out with all his strength and used his original power to exert the immortal Longhuai family's magic power. Puff, puff, puff. Even the strong cannot resist such a terrorist attack. At first, they wielded magic weapons and cut the branches madly, but the branches are endless, the coverage is wider and wider, and their bodies are penetrated one after another. Stop. Finally, the powerful one was scared and roared. Unfortunately, these 2 words were not called by Long Chen. Huaishu didn't pay attention to them. His Numenon soared and opened up the sky. The branches of the tree continued to attack indiscriminately. Just 2 breathing time, some people can't hold on, was hit by the willow, instant kill. No. As soon as the man died, the others were completely flustered, which made it more difficult to resist. Puff, puff, puff. Uncle Huai's hand was merciless, and the endless branches agitated. The rest of the strong were killed one after another, leaving no one alive. It took only a few breaths before and after, and all the 9 heavenly beings were killed. This scene is amazing. Endless branches, like the long legs of spiders, withdraw from the ground, leaving endless holes on the earth. Many holes are stained with blood, which is the blood of heaven. Uncle Huai is too strong. Guoran and others are shocked. This move is endless. As long as you are within the attack range of Uncle Huai, you can't hide or avoid it. In the face of such an attack, there is no chance to take advantage of it. If the 2 men are equal in strength, Uncle Huai can kill his opponent by virtue of the terrible vitality of the undead family. If the other party is not as good as Uncle Huai, it won't last long at all. The most terrible thing is that Uncle Huai's move has the same effect on either one person or a group of people. The high attack density and frequency are frightening. Guoran and Xiachen ask themselves that if they encounter such an attack, there is really no way at all. No matter what kind of defense they can use, they can't use it. Uncle Huai returns to human form, and Long Chen says in a hurry, "Uncle Huai, are you okay?" Because Long Chen found that there was a strange blush on Uncle Huai's face, and his breath fluctuated, which was also abnormal. Maybe it's because I've stayed in the eyes of the devil for too long, lost too much of my original power, used my own magic power, and consumed too much. Master, you don't have to worry. You'll be okay after a rest. See Long Chen a face concern, why Uncle hurry way? Huai Shu looks at Long Chen, his eyes are full of moving. Long Chen's care for him is from the heart. Never regard him as a servant, respect him very much, this makes him very grateful. See Huai Shu such as say, Long Chen nodded, that Huai Shu you first have a good rest. Xia Chen immediately summoned the flying boat and carried the crowd away. This time, Xia Chen's flying boat was different from the previous ones. It was several times faster and would not leave any breath. It was difficult for others to follow the waves to track them. Before, Long Chen planned to use the Tianzuan strongman of Longting Company as the sharpener of the Dragon Blood Legion, so as to accumulate more combat experience. Under the pressure of Tianzuan strongman, the Dragon Blood soldiers can better run in. Only by fearing the supremacy of heaven can the fighting power be exerted to the maximum. Through several fierce battles, the Dragon Blood soldiers have gradually faded away the breath of the purple sky and began to merge the breath of nirvana. From the breath, if they don't distinguish carefully, others can't recognize them as extraterrestrial people. However, this time, all of a sudden attracted so many powerful people, but it was unexpected by Long Chen. Although Huai Shu killed all the enemies at one time, Long Chen also saw the limit of Huai Shu. It was not that Huai Shu was not strong enough, but that Wei Shi's origin was eroded too much by the devil's eye. If Huai Shu wants to recover completely, he must return to the undead world and rely on the breath of the undead world to restore his original strength. Boss, Fengfei is good. Her mounts are all monsters, and her strength is even more frightening. How can she become so powerful? On the boat, Guoran couldn't help saying. Long Chen nodded and said, I'm also surprised, but she said that she was born and was buried with seeds. Now in retrospect, the Jiang family must have planted a lot of seeds like her, but not everyone who has seeds will germinate and bear fruit. Now Fengfei has integrated the 3 flowers in the fairyland and initially controlled the power of heaven. This kind of genius is called the supreme genius in the fairyland. In fact, when Long Chen just saw Fengfei, he was also shocked. This was the first time that Long Chen met someone who made him feel great pressure in the same stage of fairyland. Long Outyin is strong enough, but the spirit blood, spirit root, and spirit bone can't merge all the time. After all, they can't reach that level. When Fengfei was in Tianwu, she was amazing and gorgeous, but her strength was much worse than that of Long Outyin, Yiliangchen, Zhao Ritten, and others. However, she didn't expect that when she arrived at the fairyland, she would be as reborn as before. Although I don't know the details, Long Chen knows that there must be some cause and effect, and even Long Chen feels that there may be an amazing secret hidden in it. Boss, where are we going next? Asked Xia Chen. Boom! Just at this time, there was a startling explosion in the distance, and the breath of the heavenly power radiated. There is a fierce battle in heaven. Go and have a look. www.novelhold.com, the fastest update of the web novel. Chapter 4094. Xiachen drove the boat straight to the direction of fierce battle, and soon the wave ahead became more and more intense. 9 days above, the divine light trembles, the void continues to explode, the war situation is extremely amazing, and the heaven's breath is more than one, even as many as 4. How can there be familiar breath? When close to the battlefield, Long Chen felt familiar. I'll go first. Long Chen dislikes the slow speed of the boat. Behind him, the wings of Kun Peng spread out, turning into a streamer. The speed of Long Chen is very fast. In the twinkling of an eye, he throws the boat behind him. Soon there are 4 figures in front of him. When he sees one of them, Long Chen can't help but stay. Su Changchuan, the man with a beautiful face, is Su Changchuan, who was once the first beautiful man in Lingshao Academy. After the Kyushu meeting, Su Changchuan disappeared without any further information. Qin Feng joked at that time that Su Changchuan had failed in his pursuit of Bai Shi and lost his temper. I didn't expect to see Su Changchuan here, who had disappeared for a long time. He actually appeared in Niangshan. At this time, the vision behind Su Changchuan opened up, and a bright moon appeared in the vision. His qi and blood rushed to the sky, and he was fighting against a powerful man. Around him, there was also a strong man, and the 2 of them worked together against the 2 strong men. Their visions are very similar, and their qi, blood and soul breath are basically the same. They seem to come from the same race. Their qi and blood are very terrible. At this time, Long Chen found that Su Changchuan had an archaic flavor. He should be an archaic monster, otherwise he would not have such terrible qi and blood. However, Su Changchuan is a strong immortal king, and he is injured in many places. He is not the opponent of the Tianzuan strong one at all. He is only reluctantly supported by the Tianzuan around him. But even so, the 2 are in danger and tend to be absolutely downwind. It seems that they won't last long. Su Changchuan, please accept your destiny. The throne of the inheritors of the Moon Watching clan is beyond your control. The powerful Tianzuan who keeps attacking Su Changchuan sneers. Despicable and shameless, are you not afraid that when I become heir, I will settle accounts with you? Su Changchuan roared. Wanna be the heir of the Moon Watchers? Next life to remember that people have to have self-knowledge, the strong man sneered. Boom, with a bang, the other side's bone spear stabbed. Su Changchuan's bone spear blocked with all his strength. Su Changchuan's blood gushed, and his bone spear burst into pieces, suddenly losing his magic weapon. Little Master Su Changchuan's powerful man roared and was about to come to the rescue, but he was entangled by another strong man and couldn't rush over. Die! The powerful man laughed and stabbed Su Changchuan mercilessly with his bone spear. You wait for me. Even if you turn into fierce ghosts, I will not let you scumbags go. Su Changchuan's face is not willing to look at the bone spear stab. He did not close his eyes, but staring at each other, this is his last stubborn and unyielding. The bone spear of the heaven's strong man fell, and the golden divine light flashed, but the man's bone spear stabbed a void, and Su Changchuan disappeared. Originally, Su Changchuan thought that he was no longer lucky, but he didn't expect that someone would come to rescue him at the critical moment. He was both surprised and delighted. When he saw the person coming, he could not help exclaiming, "Dragon dust, Brother Changchuan, long time no see." Long Chen rushed to save Su Changchuan at the most critical moment. Dare to interfere in the affairs of my Moon Watchers, and seek death. The powerful man in heaven stabbed the sky with his bone spear. He was surprised and angry. He stepped on the sky with his bone spear and went straight to the dragon dust spear. Is there anything in this world that I dare not interfere in? Dragon dust cold hum, Ming Hong sword scabbard, a knife cut. Boom, there was a big bang, and Long Chen and the Tianzuan powerful man shook at the same time, and each stepped back a few steps. As soon as his face changed, he didn't expect that a kid from fairyland had such terrible power. He even fought with him, and his strength was even more terrible than that of Su Changchuan. Seeing Long Chen push back the powerful man, Su Changchuan's face was shocked. At the same time, he knew that his life had been saved. Who are you? Do you know that if you interfere in the private affairs of my moon watchers, you will destroy them? The man roared. Open your mouth and shut your mouth. It's all threats. I hate threats in my life. Are you forcing me to kill you? Long Chen's face turned cold gradually. Long Chen doesn't want to get involved in any disputes when he doesn't understand the right and wrong, but Su Changchuan knows that Long Chen can't be helpless. Although Long Chen and Su Changchuan have no friendship, they also fought side by side at the Kyushu Convention. At the critical moment, he stood on the side of Long Chen. Long Chen can't stand by and watch his affairs. But in front of this guy, open mouth shut up, or seek death, or exterminate the clan, let Long Chen's anger come up all of a sudden. You don't want to force me to be the boss. If anything comes to me, he'll be killed by the dragon blood cross. At this time, the boat roared, and the dragon blood soldiers flew out. Guoran was the first one. This son of a bitch. This guy can't help but scold. He didn't understand why he was so worried about the killer. Bang, the huge cross shot out, and the Tianzuan strongman had been focusing on Long Chen. As a result, he was in a hurry to block this move and suffered a big loss. The violent force shattered half of his body. Like a gourd rolling on the ground, he rolled out of the void and flew all the way. The appearance of the dragon dust and the dragon blood army made the situation of the battlefield turn sharply. Another powerful man of the other side was also shocked and angry. When he saw Uncle Huai on the flying boat, his pupils suddenly shrank. Suddenly a fierce blow cut out the opponent back, and then pull the injured companion, gallop away, instantly disappear. Thank you for saving my life, Brother Long. I've written this down by Su Changchuan. Su Changchuan looks at Long Chen with a grateful face. It was so dangerous just now. He almost died. At this time, with Su Changchuan together, Tianzuan strongmen came over, also quickly to Long Chen thanks, at the same time checked Su Changchuan's injury, found that is not serious, this just let go. Let's get out of here first. Long Chen greets them to get on the boat. The boat flies fast. After leaving this place, Long Chen asks, Brother, why did you suddenly leave Lingshao Academy without saying goodbye? Let's miss it so much. I'm really sorry. Something happened in the family and I had to leave. I didn't say hello to you. It's really impolite. Su Changchuan is in a hurry. Long Chen knew that it must be something inside the Moon Watchers, and it was not convenient to inquire about it. After a few words, it seemed that there was nothing to say, and the scene was a bit awkward. Su Changchuan suddenly looked at Long Chen and said, Brother Long, I have something to ask for. www.Ninefold.com, the fastest update of the web novel. Chapter 4095. Please tell me, Long Chen said cautiously that his intuition told him that Su Changchuan begged him, and things would be different. Although contact with Su Changchuan time is not much, but Long Chen know, this person is very proud, easily won't ask. I hope Brother Long can help me to regain the throne of successor. Su Changchuan wrote. Of course, I won't let Brother Long help you in vain. Although it's vulgar to talk about terms, we'd better be villains before gentlemen. If Brother Long is willing to help me, when I take back the position of successor, you will get the support of the whole Moon Watching clan. And my family, in terms of strength, is no worse than your immortal family. As long as I am here, my family will always support you. In addition, the Moon Watchers come from the forbidden area of life, where there are countless lost worlds in the archaic era that can be explored. Life Forbidden Zone, Xia Chen and others were surprised. They heard about the Life Forbidden Zone. It is said that some of the Life Forbidden Zones are the space cracks left by the collapse of Jiutian during the Chaos War. Although these cracks healed after countless years, they still left an area that could not be explored by life. It is said that this area buried most of the archaic times, with countless channels leading to the unknown world. It can be said that the Forbidden Zone of life is a huge treasure. Unfortunately, the Terrans can't get close to it. Once they get close, Shoyuan will be swallowed up. But there are some creatures with special talents who can survive in the forbidden area of life, and the Moon Watchers are one of them. The forbidden zone of life is not one place. It can be understood as a long and narrow crack in 9 days and 10 places. The crack also has many branches, like the vein of leaves, connecting the whole world. Dragon dust from the dark Hautian to Xianshan, and then to Niangshan continuously across the Tianhe River, dangerous countless, but for the forbidden area of life, it is no trouble, they have their own way, can go anywhere. When Su Changchuan said this, Long Chen was excited. If he could get through the forbidden area of life, he would be allowed to come and go in 9 days and 10 places. It would be more convenient to gather the Dragon Blood Army. I don't know why you left Lingxiao Academy, but I know that you need to build your own power, and the forbidden zone of life is your best choice. Su Changchuan looks at Xiachen, Guoran and others. Long Chen nodded and said, "Indeed, I need a place to live, and the forbidden area of life is really the best choice at present. First of all, what do you need me to help you?" Long Chen knows that Su Changchuan is really in trouble, otherwise he will not ask for help. After all, they are all fairyland. Asking for help from him is tantamount to admitting that he is not as good as Long Chen, which is really hard for him to say. I just need Brother Long to find a way to break through their blockade and send me back to the Moon Watchers. Su Changchuan rode. So simple? What kind of trouble are you in? Long Chen can't help but ask, now Su Changchuan can't even go home? It's a long story. Su Changchuan didn't care much about it. He directly told Long Chen about his experience. It turned out that Su Changchuan was one of the 5 candidates in the younger generation of the Wang Yue family. In terms of talent, Su Changchuan is the worst among the 5 candidates, but he has a strange talent, that is, when he is with the metal strong, he will stimulate his talent and awaken his ancestors. Therefore, after discovering this talent, Su Changchuan looked everywhere for a strong metal, and finally found Bai Shi of Lingxiao Academy. But Bai Shi ignored him. At the beginning he still felt that with his appearance and talent, he would be favored by Bai Shi one day. But when Long Chen appeared, his dream was completely broken. He was decisive, and he didn't entangle with Long Chen. He ran away to find other strong men. I don't know if it's God's blessing. He actually found a nun who was a strong metal, and she was more suitable for him. The golden power of Bai's poetry belongs to the sharp golden power. It is extremely sharp and destructive, but it has little nourishing power. However, the partner Su Changchuan is looking for belongs to the power of thick gold, and his sharp spirit is not as good as Bai Shi, but on the strength, he is stronger than Bai Shi, and the power of thick gold is nourishing. Su Changchuan spent a lot of efforts to catch up with this female monk. They worked together to cultivate together. Su Changchuan's cultivation made great progress. He was just one step away from awakening the 3-color vision and promoting to the supreme pride. However, the selection of Su Changchuan's family heirs was about to begin. He couldn't wait to be promoted to the top, so he rushed back. But what he didn't expect was that other candidates knew that he was helped by Jin Xiuji. They even intercepted Su Changchuan on the way and didn't intend to let him participate in the selection of successor. Fortunately, at the critical moment, a clan uncle came to pick him up and saved him, but they were chased all the way. If Long Chen didn't show up in time, Su Changchuan would be cool. In Su Changchuan's words, the reason why the other candidates want to kill him is that once he goes back to the Moon Watchers, other people are not qualified at all. Because he has awakened the strongest vision of the Moon Watchers, and has unlimited potential in the future, the Patriarch will surely pass on the position of heir to him. Because of this, other people will never let him go back. If he runs away and his successor position is taken away by others, then he will be abandoned. Although he awakened the strongest vision of the Moon Watchers, he could not complete the final transformation without the blessing of their ancestors. Yan Changshan is anxious to ask for help, so he can't help him. As long as you can escort the little lord into the forbidden area of life, we, the Moon Watchers, will never forget your great kindness, and you will get the most sincere friendship of the Moon Watchers. The man next to Su Changchuan has a solemn face. As a strong man of the older generation of the Moon Watchers, he knew how terrifying Su Changchuan's future potential was, so he fought all the way to protect Su Changchuan. In fact, he also protected the future of the Moon Watchers. Do you have any other allies? Longchen asked. Yes, what's the matter? Su Changchuan did not understand the tunnel. I'm afraid it's troublesome. I'm afraid the people who kill you are not only the Moon Watchers. Longchen rode. At that moment, Su Changchuan and the powerful man were shocked, and their faces suddenly changed. They thought of a very bad possibility. Forget it, I'll accept my fate. I won't go back to the Moon Watchers. Su Changchuan's face was pale and his eyes were absent, as if he had lost his soul. Even if he had the courage to stop Zhang Qin, he would have tried his best to help him. Why do you want to accept your fate? Longchen said with a smile. Brother Longyu. Su Changchuan looks at Longchen with surprise. www.novelhold.com, the fastest update of the web novel. Chapter 4096. Hearing Long Chen's words, Su Changchuan, who had been in the dark, saw the light in an instant. Although he had not been in contact with Long Chen for a long time, he always had a feeling that no one could stop what Long Chen wanted to do. There is still some time to go before the Holy King's meeting. Long Chen planned to use this time to do something. Originally, he just planned to rob several Longting businesses and get more money. Not only get money, but also create a huge sensation. In this way, it is easy to attract the attention of the Long family. His father is in the dragon's family. Long Chen doesn't know what his situation is. Long Chen has to prepare for the worst. Only when he makes the dragon's family afraid enough can he have a father-son reunion. However, it's not a good time to get in touch with the dragon family. If you go now, Long Outyen will surely use all his means to deal with him. Long Chen's goal now is to win the championship of the Holy King's Assembly. When he gets the championship and gets the reward, he will be qualified to join the dragon family dignitaries when the Dragon Blood Army reunites and becomes famous. Long Chen is thinking about how to make use of this period of time. As a result, Su Changchuan comes. Long Chen knows a little about the forbidden area of life, but many things in the forbidden area of life are taboo. They are not delicious and can't be recorded on paper and pen. In Lingxiao Academy, the records about the forbidden area of life are extremely obscure, but Long Chen knows that there must be a shocking secret hidden in the forbidden area of life. Now that Su Changchuan has hit him, Long Chen will not refuse. Moreover, it is not too difficult to send Su Changchuan back. The boat was flying all the way. Xia Chen deliberately arranged an array to prevent others from tracking. For the sake of safety, he also used 2 non-directional transmissions. Everyone is resting in a valley. Su Changchuan and the powerful man of Wangyue clan need to be healed. During the healing period, Su Changchuan looks at Yu Qingxian beside Long Chen and stops talking for several times. Until Yu Qingxian goes to alchemy, Su Changchuan says secretly, Brother Long, did you break up with the fairy poem? No. Long Chen was stunned. How could that? What does Su Changchuan mean? Why are you getting on well with others? Su Changchuan is not a fool. Although Long Chen and Yu Qingxian don't make any intimate moves, from Yu Qingchuan's gentle eyes, we can see that she is deeply in love with Long Chen. She is also one of my confidants. Long Chen is embarrassed. The fairy of poetry she knows? No, Long Chen nodded. Ilgo, Brother Long, do you know? I admire your martial arts talent, but what I admire more is your ability. Su Changchuan sighed. What ability? I don't know how to attract the opposite sex. My ability to attract the opposite sex is very strong, so I was envied by those guys in my family since I was a child. However, later I found that what I can attract are all the weak. For some really strong people, my attraction will gradually decrease. I've been chasing by Shirshir for a long time, and people don't care about me at all. Now I'm chasing this one, and I've tried my best. And you, it seems, don't have to work hard at all. Just by this, to tell you the truth, I admire you very much. Su Changchuan rode. Su Changchuan is handsome, with a brilliant background and amazing talent. He can be said to be the dream partner of countless women. Just because of this, he has always been as proud and charming as the stars and the moon. Bai Shirshir dislikes people like him most, so he doesn't pay any attention to him at all. Su Changchuan was hit hard by this. Although he didn't hate Long Chen and wanted to learn more ways to attract the opposite sex from him, he was still very uncomfortable and finally left secretly. This time, I saw a peerless beauty beside Long Chen, and this peerless beauty only had Long Chen in her eyes, and didn't even look at him one more time, which made him suffer a lot. You know, with his handsome, no matter how proud the woman, no matter out of curiosity or appreciation, can't help but look more. Long Chen was speechless for a while, and Su Changchuan admired him in this respect, which made Long Chen a little sad. Brother Changchuan, what's your family doing to you? Long Chen digs off the topic. Brother Long, don't worry. My grandfather is the patriarch. I'm from the direct family. My blood is pure and am loved by my grandfather. They must have kept it from my grandfather when they intercepted me this time. Let my grandfather know about this. None of them will live. Thinking of being chased and killed, Su Changchuan can't help but feel angry. With Su Changchuan's answer, Long Chen is also relieved. If Su Changchuan wants to use his power to fight for the position of successor, Long Chen will not take so many people to risk. This belongs to the family of the Moon Watchers. As an outsider, Long Chen doesn't understand the internal situation. It's his bottom line to send Su Changchuan back to the Moon Watchers. After 2 days of repair, Su Changchuan and the powerful man finally recovered. They drove the boat to the position Su Changchuan said. Originally, Su Changchuan proposed to let Long Chen make a detour from other areas. According to him, there must be many obstacles to directly rush to the Moon Watchers. But Long Chen doesn't think so. Under the control of the Patriarch, the Moon Watchers won't make much movement, because it's easy to be detected. What Su Changchuan can think of, and so can the other party. They expect that after Su Changchuan is hunted down, they will not dare to go straight to the Moon Watchers, so other ways are really full of thorns and traps. Seeing Long Chen's direct attack on the Moon Watchers, Su Changchuan didn't say anything at last. Although he was worried, he finally chose to believe Long Chen. Boss, there are array fluctuations ahead. All of a sudden, summer morning stopped the boat road. Is it a detection array? Long Chen asked. Yes. Can you handle it? Long Chen asked. No problem, of course. Summer morning road. Let's go. The others are ready to fight and go straight ahead. Long Chen rode. Brother Long, is this really okay? Su Changchuan was surprised. Originally, he thought that with the wisdom of Long Chen he would come up with all kinds of ingenious ways to get around each other's traps, but he didn't expect that Long Chen would come directly. I don't know. Try. Long Chen's stall. This. Su Changchuan's face turned white. How can we try this thing? If we fail, we will lose our lives. At this time, the rune on the boat in the morning of summer lights up, and the whole boat vibrates. With a strong feeling of pushing his back, he feels that the seat has absorbed him firmly. Boom! The flying boat had been driving slowly for a period of time, but it suddenly sped up, like a streamer rushing forward. There was an arrow shadow in front of the flying boat, which directly penetrated a boundary. Boom boom. The flying boat is like a sharp sword. It penetrates 8 enchantments in a row. Every time it passes through one, the world becomes a bit dim. When it passes through the 8 enchantments, a huge dark gate appears in front of it, which is the entrance of the Moon Watchers. Boom! And just then, in the dark door, countless breath of terror rose. www.novelhold.com, the fastest update of the web novel. Chapter 4097. When he saw a gate, Su Changchuan was very excited. This is one of the entrances and the main gate of the Moon Watchers. As long as he passes through this gate, he can get back everything that belongs to him, but this gate is not so good. Is it you, young lord? As soon as Long Chen and others arrived, a heavenly strong man exclaimed in surprise and arrived before the other strong men arrived. Uncle Yun, is that you? Su Changchuan was both surprised and pleased to see that man. He was also a powerful man who had cared for him since he was a child, and he was with his peers. Great. Don't go in. It's full of traps. The man called Uncle Yun came to the crowd and said, Sure enough, Su Changchuan's heart is awe-inspiring. As he expected, it may have already laid a net. Come with me. I'll take you to a safe place. Uncle Yun grabs Su Changchuan's arm, and Su Changchuan's face suddenly changes. Uncle Yun. Uncle Yun seized his moment, and the power of terror enveloped him for a moment. At that moment, he saw the smile on Uncle Yun's mouth. At the moment, he finally understood that Uncle Yun had been bribed. Let's die, Uncle Yun grins, and his violent power pours into Su Changchuan's body in an instant, which is to force him to burst. Poof! But just then, the cold wooden stick pierced his back heart, and the body of the heavenly power exploded. I know you have a problem. If you want to save people, you can inform the patriarch long ago. Why wait here? Long Chen sneers. This cloud uncle appears too suddenly. Long Chen is also a lung, but immediately feel his body strength in violent fluctuations, immediately feel bad, direct notice Huaishu start. Everything happened too suddenly. Fortunately, Long Chen reacted fast enough, otherwise Su Changchuan would have been killed by the people he trusted. So vicious, Su Changchuan was surprised and angry. He didn't expect Uncle Yun to betray him, and the man next to him was also shocked. Up to now, he didn't respond. What's the matter? Rush in, Long Chen ordered. Brother Long, no. Su Changchuan was shocked. Someone had set up a trap outside. Isn't it a tiger's den inside? If you go in, you'll never come back. Long Chen ignores Su Changchuan's opinions. Xia Chen has driven the boat through the black gate. When the boat passes through the gate, the dark world becomes bright for a moment. A bright moon hangs on the 9 days, and the soft divine light shines on every corner. Long Chen and others saw the brightness of the moon for the first time, and they could light up a world just like the sun. Moreover, in this world, the light was so soft that they seemed to enter a quiet and sacred place. However, in this sacred place, there was a strong intention to kill, which destroyed her peace. If you dare to break into the Moon Watchers, kill them all and leave none. There is a roar from heaven. Countless fierce breath rising, a dozen of heaven's strong and endless earth's strong appeared in one breath, and the harsh sound of alarm reverberated between heaven and earth, deafening. Stop! Su Changchuan. Su Changchuan yelled, but in the harsh sound of the alarm, he could not even hear himself. At that moment, he understood that the enemy was ready. He was not given a chance to ask for help at all. The alarm was a kind of space prohibition. It should be the moment Uncle Yun found them. He sent a signal to them and opened the prohibition. Boom! Countless attacks, gathered together, went straight to Long Chen and others. Obviously, these people knew who they were and didn't give them a chance to speak. In this way, even if we know later that we have killed the wrong person, it can be said that it is a mistake. Even if we are held responsible, we will share the same responsibility. Even if we have killed the candidate of patriarch, it won't be very good. When he was attacked by so many people at the same time, Su Changchuan had only one idea at that moment. After that, even the powerful man around him closed his eyes. No one could catch such an attack. Boom boom. At this time, the earth burst open, endless roots burst out, interwoven into wooden walls in the void. The roots of the trees were dense and overlapped. In an instant, thousands of defenses were set up. It was Uncle Huai who took the hand. With the burst of sound, the endless roots burst into pieces and turned into vermicelli. The wooden walls burst into pieces one after another, which could not resist the attack of so many strong people. Soon the terrible waves came in front of the boat. Uncle Huai stopped drinking, and his wooden staff waved fiercely. All the attacks were shattered by his staff. In the flying of runes in the sky, Uncle Huai, like a god, stands in front of all the people. He will kill him and block him. Uncle Huai is a strong man of the undead. Attack is not his strong point, but defense is their best. He set up a wooden wall to remove the endless power. When their attack came to the front of Long Chen and others, it was the end of the crossbow. Huaishu easily took over the attack from the strong men of Wang Yue clan. Su Changchuan almost cried out with excitement when he saw this scene. At this time, the Tianzuan strong men on the opposite side were also silly. They had seen the picture from Uncle Yun before. They only saw one Tianzuan and a group of young people. How could they provoke such a terrible existence? Friends of the undead, what can I do for the Moon Watchers? If you don't make it clear, I'm afraid I can't let you go. At this time, a voice full of dignity came, endless echoes reverberated between heaven and earth. With the distortion of the void, a man as tall as an iron tower appeared. As soon as the man appeared, the terrible pressure made Long Chen and others not breathe well. They were both heaven strong, but his breath was much stronger than others. My lord, I have seen you. Seeing the man like the iron tower, Su Changchuan burst into tears, choking and rushing out. Changchuan, what's the situation? The man like the iron tower saw Su Changchuan with a look of shock on his face. Patriarch, you have to be the master of Changchuan. Someone in the family framed Changchuan and wanted to kill him, so that Changchuan would not compete for the qualification of the patriarch's successor. Cried Su Changchuan excitedly. When Su Changchuan said this, many of the strong men of the Moon Watchers at the scene changed their faces and their eyes were full of panic. The head of Wang Yue clan's face sank, and his eyes were full of murders. He swept to several people in the crowd, who immediately lowered their heads and did not dare to look at him. At that moment, how could the head of the Moon Watching clan not understand what was going on? Suddenly he clenched his fist in anger, but he didn't attack on the spot. Instead, he looked at Uncle Huai and said, "Thank you for the friends of the undead family to escort our children. I'm sure the Moon Watchers will have a heavy thank you." "You don't have to thank me. Thank my master if you want. He asked me to do it." Huaishu Light Tunnel, finished saying words back to the dragon dust behind, dragon dust looking at the Moon Clan head. Terran. When I see Long Chen and others, the head of the Moon Watching clan, I immediately frown, with a touch of unhappy color on my face. It seems that I hate the human race very much. This makes Long Chen feel a little awe-inspiring. Is the benefit going to be ruined? www.novelhold.com, the fastest update of the web novel. You're tuning in to the Passion Pages YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.